And that's right. And we're live. OBS. Middle screen splaining. All right. I got some beer. I'm a little under the weather. That's okay. Worked my ass off today. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Sorry, guys. Let's see you, folks. That works for me. Hey, Chris. Hey, Colin. Hey, Colin. Nice, buddy. Let me let me give you guys the thing. Invite. Oh. Here, guys. Even if sorry. And hey, it's James. That's pretty great. Colin, if you can join me audio only, at least. I'd love to talk to you about this craziness. Chris, jump in here too. I'll be waiting. Trying to get a good grasp on this. I kind of actually just kind of need to like re-XY myself. What does this do? Oh, that gives me my middle point of antenna. Select. Ooh, I can rotate around the selected wire. So 6-4 D104 tonight. That is crazy. Hey, Chris, jump on in here, buddy. So maybe did that select a wire? Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Pretty good. I'm just got the kids to bed, getting ready for work. You know how it goes. Took a little break.
There we go. I have been down a deep rabbit hole on my zigzag antenna, and my good buddy Hacks with Axe, he suggested that I put a capacity hat on here, and holy crap, has this just made the
Really, really good or really, really bad?
Oh, really good. What's that tapping sound? Is that like an animer? What is that?
It might be me tapping my foot.
Oh, okay.
You know, trying to wake up, try to be alive for the night shift. You know how it
Oh,
goes.
are you C shift? What are you?
I am third overnight.
Third overnight. So 2 on, 3 off?
Nope. I'm working. It's a 5-day stretch right now, and then
Is
I
it
have
5?
a couple of days off.
Oh, okay. So it's like a
5
it's like a
days.
2-week. It's a 2-week schedule then, right?
Yeah, basically.
I got you. So I've been trying to figure out this zigzag contraption, and so I modeled it, right?
Yep.
And I don't know if you're up to speed on what this thing even is.
I was understanding it a little bit, and I got down some rabbit holes of my own, so I've lost track of this one.
I gotcha.
I bought a GPS unit for my TDEC, put it in, and now I'm trying to update it so it enables the location. And yeah, it's not doing what I wanted to do.
Well,
And then I went down my ham clock display with a weather station, and that's not doing what it's wanting to do. So yeah, I've been under different stuff, and of course now I'm trying to figure out which end fed to buy to build, so to speak.
Wait, you said buy before build.
Buy build.
How many watery dews are you trying to push into this thing?
I'm trying to do way too much right now. I got to slow down a
So-
little bit.
So what? 10 watts or 100 watts?
I got a 20-watt rig, so I'm gonna probably end up having to get a.
Oh,
Q-
okay. You need one of those micro 61 cores, and then we need to do like a 64-to-1 high impedance with the 3 primary in
Yeah.
a little tiny plastic box, so that you can do like really low deployment above ground.
I'm thinking instead of the little plastic box, doing a wire winder, so it's portable.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean,
Yeah, put it on something.
this is the size of plastic box I'm talking about. Oh, not.
Yeah, it looks like the Reliance
Yeah,
jobber that Grouch was saying.
a little tiny box, but yeah, we can do it right on a winder. Absolutely.
It's a hole. It's my rabbit hole that I put out a video on it this morning. And of course, I screwed up on the settings for putting it out. So it, nobody could put comments because I put it for kids.
Right.
You know how it goes.
Oh yeah.
But that looks very, very interesting. And I like that.
So what's great about this is that this is an antenna made completely out of just wire. There's no transformer. There's no toroid. This is only wire. And what we actually have here, if I reduce these currents, or actually I can just delete the currents. There we go. And so now we're just looking at the antenna itself as far as wire. We've got a couple of strings of radials, and we've got what looks like an infed, right? Because we're fed here, and then we go up, and then we kind of go down. This height here is not very tall. This is like 10 feet. Now here's my magic. My 2 wires, one is longer than the other, and then I went upside down, and then my longer one runs into a capacity hat.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay. Does it really? Because
Yeah,
I don't
it's stupid.
understand. Yeah, I don't understand what I'm doing here, but what I've so Hacks asked me to make a capacity hat. I'm like, how the shit do I model a capacity hat? I was like, so I went into the software, and I just ran a whole bunch of just random like equal length
wires.
Elements. Yeah, wires. Let me turn the curtains off. Yeah, just a bunch of random. I just made a porcupine, symmetrical porcupine. Yeah. And I'll be damned, I don't understand why that one's like double the. Maybe there's 2 there and I don't know it, but if I turn on the currents, there's current here. It's throwing current here. And what's really great is if you look at like the broad of the antenna.
From where? City Hall?
The actual current has increased. Because normally, like Hollywood taught me, is that we have a minimal current at the end of our wire, typically.
Yep.
Right? High voltage, minimal current. Current is what we want. What we've done here with this capacitive hat is we've pulled or pushed, depending on who you ask, the current to a different point on the wire. And we've taken the load off of the tuner, because this is a manual or automatic tuner dependent device. So if I middle point of antenna, if I look.
So my only question, and this is the only question I have, because I see how it's sprayed out, put out everything with the capacitance hat and the 2 wires and your radials down there. How are you going to hook that up to coax?
Any way that you want to. I mean, we're going to feed it directly from the coax from here, and then see everything from here and that way. I give 2 shits about, because this is all on the user. This is all antenna performance side forward. But I'm modeling this just like I did at Hamcation, where this was directly 3 feet off the ground, which it is, and it was
Okay.
directly out of the back of my Daiwa antenna tuner.
Okay.
So
The
it's
only reason
not.
the only reason I'm asking that question because we
Yeah.
got to run coax out to it. If it's an SO239 or some
So
people like
this.
playing with ends.
So here's the thing: is
Something.
that I want to be able to put this antenna in people's hands for $20.
Okay, makes sense.
I mean, it's nothing but wire. It really is. It's nothing but wire. If I like add a couple of things that make it easier to deploy, then that'll make it a kit. But the whole purpose is that basically this is just wire with nice little connecty doos all over, and then you create yourself some kind of V high point. And I'm still working on this capacitive hat, trying to make this as cheap as possible. So there might be some fiberglass sticks with some tape holding some wire to make this little porcupine at the end of it. But what it's done is it's pulled the high current away from the tuner. So it's not having to do all the work at the tuner anymore. All that current is actually broadside to the majority of the wire now. And that's just on this frequency. Like we can go to 14. No fatal errors. I love it. Go ahead. Give me something. And so this is cool, right? So this is 20 meters. And look how useful that is.
Wow.
So we have these broadside lobes. We've got this high point for skip, and it's all firing back at the user towards here. I can do this. And so you can see the radial plane. Here's the user.
Mhm.
Here's the deployment. There's the capacity hat at the end. All this is firing back at the user. And this is all thanks to this capacitive hat right here. Whereas before, without this capacitive hat, you didn't get this DX concentration on either lobe. No. I can
see why.
It wants to run away from it, but again, we're getting this isn't very typical because this isn't a single wire. This is 2 elements. And this is what really makes this thing a lot of fun, is that you have 2 wires and 2 chances and at least 2 or 3 tuning points to achieve. Yeah, because you have 2 different radiating elements. And it was really cool that this software allowed me to radiate both of these elements from the same point right here.
My question though is how long is that long wire to the capacitance hat?
Okay. I have that right here. You want to know how long is the antenna, basically, right?
Yeah, basically. Because the capacitance hat will be no more than maybe 3 to 4 feet.
61 feet. So basically 30 feet up to the apex and then 30 feet down.
Okay.
And then here, I'm going to render this on my favorite, which is 75 meters. Just pure invis glory. Just straight up. Just straight up. And you know what? If we go back to the currents, this is even better. Show me some currents. Look at all that high current that has not fallen to 0 at the end of the wire.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And our radials, you see the high current on the radials? They're doing work.
Yeah, they are.
But you saw it in 3D. It's straight up as far as invis, and we'll go back to like 40 meters, so that's 75 meters. So 40 meters is 7.2.
Yeah.
Run that for you. Same thing. Just a little bit run away from the user, but mostly invis. And you still got.
I would like to deploy that for an emergency situation where we have to use NFES because we're no more than 200 miles away. and you can't use a regular end fed basically because it's
Right,
just
because you
beautiful.
don't you have no transformer.
Yeah.
Right. So let's see. 18 what? 18.1?
Yeah.
Ooh, that took a while.
Still, that looks. I mean,
It's not bad, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah, there's still hot lobes.
Yeah.
Quadrilaterally, and then we have hot all the way towards the user again. So this is another not a bad one. What do we got on 5 bananas?
Good stuff.
Oh, sorry, this way. 4 and 5. So a negative 13. That's not the worst I've ever seen. And then we'll go straight to what, 28.5? That's going to take a minute. Lots of folding going on. There we go.
Colin, I like what Colin said there.
What'd
Just
he
like a G5 RV, just wire and ladder line.
Well, kind of. So with the G5 RV, you need the ladder line. With this antenna, you do not.
That's smart.
So this is 10 meters,
Oy.
which is not favorable, right? This is
No.
not a high frequency antenna, unfortunately. So let's dial it back. Because we do have 61 feet and 56 feet of radiating elements. So what's the next one? 21 megahertz?
Yep.
21.1, right? Or 2?
I can't remember.
21.1?
Something like that. If I can find my stupid cheat sheet. Nope, I can't find it.
Sorry. So here is the next band down, right?
It's not
21.
beautiful, but
No, it's 15. This is 15. That's right.
Okay.
12
And then-
meters is 24. That's right. Thanks, Eamon. So 15 megahertz, it looks like a DX monster, in my opinion.
Yeah. And you still got 4 lobes. You still got, I mean,
Where are we at?
it's not bad at all.
Where's 5 bananas? Yeah, negative 10 dB on 5 bananas. I'm down with that. That's not bad at all.
You could have fun with voice. You could have fun with FT8. You could have fun with JSA call.
Yeah, so this is basically what I would call one of the lowest, or actually the highest operating frequencies, because it is still very usable. So where are we at? We are at 21. Next one is 15. Then we did 17, and then we're going to 20. 14.2, I guess. Here's 20.
That's 20. We did that one.
Yeah.
Right? What is it? 17.
Yeah, 20 was very hot off to the operator side.
Yep.
And then I guess we'll go, let's do 30, because this isn't, wait, hold on. So here's 20 megahertz, not 20, 20 meters, 14 megahertz. Now let's look at the current distribution. There is a lot going on these radials. So
Yep.
what this tells me is that A, these radials are not sufficient.
Very true.
Or B, you have an idea.
Well, I mean, you have a lot of current on there, and this modeling actually helps a lot. And I see the dip there in right after the middle. Right there. Yeah, I see that dip, and then it comes back arcing, which is nice.
That is from the long wire capacity hat. It's ending up short here.
So my question to you is, how long are those radials? And can we go a little bit longer? But then on the other hand...
Oh, I'll modify them right now. The radials are 18.5 feet. So let's go to wire edit right here. Let's go top down. You can see all this, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Just barely, but I can see it.
So I wrote everything down in feet, but this program works in meters. So 18.5 feet is about 5.6 meters. Is that about right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right. So how long do you want this wire?
I would say make it
Oh,
close
Hollywood's
to
here.
33.
Hey, Hollywood.
I'm just here to be a pest.
Oh,
Yeah, good.
well, you know.
I got to take off anyways, Zig.
All right, man.
So I'm going to say 73 guys. But yeah, if
Chris.
you go, I was thinking.
Was it something I
30.
said?
No, I got to go to work.
No, he's on like C or D shift or some
I used soap
craziness.
this morning.
Good. But
I think
Zig,
he's just
I would
waking up.
try. I would try 33 feet. And see
Let's
what
go
that
33
does.
feet and see what it does.
I'll watch you guys when I'm on my way into work.
All
Have
right,
fun.
homie. We'll see you, Chris.
Chris.
75. Hollywood, sir.
Yes, sir.
What did you accomplish?
Absolutely nothing.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to hear. What do you say? 33 feet? That's what he said. How many feet reduce is 33 feet in meter reduce? It's about 10 and some change.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got length 8, 7, 8, 9, and 10 and some change. You.
I joined the party
10.
late, so I'm observing cautiously.
Did you fix that old lady's computer down at the end of the road?
Oh man. Yeah, it had issues.
Is she running Windows 2000?
Windows XP?
Really?
No, not really. I'm making it up.
I was about to say, it must have been a offline, standalone,
Yeah.
serial controlling.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I had a big job that I just finished today.
Yeah.
For a client, and then he said, "Oh well, you might as well. You did such a good job with that one. Take the wife's machine, do the same thing."
that was almost, but not exactly the mission. But I would say that you succeeded and failed simultaneously.
That's correct.
5 bananas. Oh, we got better. Look, just like you
Good,
said,
good.
Hollywood. More radials equal more better.
More better.
More better.
Mm-hmm.
Run it. All right. So what have we done? All right. So it still wants to run towards the user, no matter the radial length on 20 meters, which is fine because that's not the frequency that we're stressing this thing on. We are stressing this thing on the lower bands, like my favorite frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nothing has changed.
Right.
Cares not. Straight up.
Well, that's because it's low to the ground. You have
It's-
to be
It's running away from the ground. It wants nothing to do with it.
right.
Yeah.
Unless you have giant towers and redwood trees, I mean, it at that frequency, it's going to go up.
Straight up.
Yep.
Well, let's entertain. Calculate. Where are we? Add height.
Oh no, bigger, more like 100.
More
meters.
bigger? 100
Yeah.
meters. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
And then look at it.
All right. Very. Huh.
Do the 3DFF. Yeah. There
Oh,
you go.
look. It's folding.
Now,
Why is-
I mean, that's 300 feet up in the air.
Why is it still mad here? Oh, because the V.
Mm-hmm. So you're getting multiple reflections off of the ground.
Where's my view? Where's my currents? Oh my God.
Yep.
I've never
Yep.
seen a current off of the
Yep.
scale before. Oh, wow. All right. So I want to pick up here, Hollywood.
Mhm.
You were telling me that we have with the hat, we've shifted the current away from the tuner, and then we're kind of moving
It's
it
mo-
into the hat.
Yeah, it's more efficient. There's more of it at the end where the hat is than without the hat.
But
There's still
then,
less at the hat, but it's more uniform.
there was something about the tuner side of this that made it easier to tune because the impedance was high.
It will lower the resonant frequency
Okay.
using the hat.
Okay.
An antenna is an inductive capacitive LC tank circuit. It's a wire. Think of a vertical antenna. It's a wire that has inductance because it's a conductor. It doesn't have to be wrapped in a coil. It's just the length of the wire. It has inductance to it. There's also capacitance between the end of the wire, where the electrons bunch up, and the ground plane below. So if you view it from the ground level, you would see an inductor going up and a capacitor coming back down, and they're both in parallel with each other. So it's really a tank circuit. And if you shorten the antenna, you're removing inductance. And if you lengthen the antenna, you're adding inductance. That's why with a short antenna, you need a loading coil. You're trying to make up for that lost inductance that's going away with too short an antenna. He's focusing.
Oh, damn it. It's on the ground.
So what the capacitive hat is doing is it's adding additional capacitance. It's sort of like it's padding it. Have you ever seen like on an amplifier, you have a loading control. This is a tube amplifier. You have a loading control, and if you flip it to a 160 meter band, it adds some fixed capacitors in line. There's a switch when you throw it into 160.
Right.
Right. And those fixed capacitors are in parallel with the one that is the plate. I mean, not the plate, but the loading control. It adds to it. Capacitors in parallel add. So when you have a capacitive hat at the top, you're adding to the capacitance that's already there. You're adding a larger plate. You can't make it any closer to the ground, but you're giving it more surface area. The capacitor is two plates, two conductors separated by a dielectric. One plate is the ground radials on the grass.
I get it.
The other plate, without the capacitive hat, is the end of the wire.
It's a totally different circuit. It's completely exited the antenna at this point.
Yeah, well, they don't exit. They bounce. They go all the way up, and then they have to turn immediately around. And if you add a capacitive hat there, you're adding a second plate, a larger plate at the top. Instead of a little pinpoint, the end of the wire, you've got a plate that might be, the size of a pie plate. It's not a little point anymore. Yeah.
I was assuming that there's almost no way to do this wrong.
As long I see what you did. As long as they are connected.
I think I've changed something. It looks different.
Yeah, you have to look at the drawing.
It is different. Wow, it went up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see what I've done here.
So go to the go not on view, but on the drawing part.
Wire edit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then zoom in on that point. If you right click on the hat, go up to the hat, and then right click on it and say from here or something. What the hell it says.
center on.
Uh-huh. Centered on this position, the
There
first
we
one.
go.
Right, now you zoom in. Yep.
All right.
So as long as those points all are connected to the vertical radiator, then you're good to go.
Which they are.
And I think they are, yeah.
Yeah. Oop, oop.
We're also viewing it in XY. It's kind of
Yeah,
hard
so
to
if I-
see.
So if
Yeah,
I
so
go
some of
here
them
and
are-
I rotate,
Yeah.
yeah, we're
So
good.
some of them are going vertical. It really should be all of them going horizontal.
Oh,
because
we need to respect the disc.
Yeah, right.
Oh, really?
You're making a disc. You're making a radial plate. Remember, a capacitor is two flat plates separated by some space. Could be air in the middle, could be dielectric in the middle,
Yeah.
could be wax, could be oil. In this case, it's air.
Well, let's fix this because
Yeah.
this needs to be on one plane then.
Yep.
Okay. All right. The other one, I did something like this, but I just assumed it was some kind of tank. Let's go to wire edit. How are we looking at this device? This is a vertical, and this is one side of it.
You're looking at it as XZ. So
Z and a
you're
flat
viewing it-
face.
Yeah. So the ones that are down, yeah, get rid of them. Right.
And then we'll go X or ZY. Yeah. And then we'll get rid of these. I put a lot of work into these, damn it.
I know.
So I need to look at it from top down and add, that's not top down. One of these is top down. Yeah, we'll get there. Whoa, hey. Well, I guess that's my capacitive hat at the moment.
So zoom in a little bit on it and then look at the XZ or YZ, either way.
Let's see. Where? There.
Okay, so you've got one there that's going up. Get rid of that.
Oh, that's the main radiating element, I believe. But no.
Then-
You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
right.
right.
That is not part of it.
Right. I also don't see that capacitive hat is electrically connected.
Really? The dots.
It looks
the
like
dots not-
it. I don't think so. I think, oh, maybe it is. Okay, I stand corrected. You're okay.
Right.
It looked like you had one piece of wire, but when you just cut it, when you showed it as two separate wires, they are joined. So yeah, you're good. That's perfect. Leave it be. That's great.
Leaving it be.
Mhm.
It's a very small capacitive hat, though.
That's
on this.
okay. You'll see it. You'll see that it will have some influence. It only takes a couple of picofarad. Doesn't take a lot.
It doesn't take a lot.
Nope.
Almost no difference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That answers a lot. Hey.
But where is its resonant frequency? If you look
Where-
at
You want to optimize?
no.
Oh, no. You want me to look at the currents is what you want me to do.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's exaggerate. Am I in this view?
I would also draw. Do you only have two radials?
I was only supposed to have one, but apparently I have two. Let's do some more
Okay.
radials.
Here's what I would suggest. Lose those two radials at the bottom.
Let's lose them. They're messing everything up.
Well, okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me think about this. We're feeding this antenna up in the air, right? The whole
The
thing is
Base
above ground.
Let's see. Where is it?
Because when I first joined,
It's real.
Yeah.
It's real, and
Yeah.
at imaginary ground. It's like
the
100
whole
meters.
thing is 100 meters up in the air, radials and all. So
Apparently,
leave that where it is,
Okay.
but draw two extra radials going the other way,
all right. Well, let's go to wire.
90
edit.
degrees to the ones that you have.
Let's go this way. Use my shift key. Come on. Shift? No. So that's my hat. Those are my two radials.
Yeah, you're looking down from the top. You want to go either XZ or YZ. Yeah. So in YZ, I saw it quickly. You got it. You got it. Yeah, because they do exist in the YZ plane. Yep. Yep. You got it.
So let's run it and work our way backwards.
And look what you want to look at is look at the R impedance and then look at the currents.
That's going to be on calculate. Huh.
So you know what? Just leave it here because this actually tells us everything we need to know.
Okay.
We don't need to look at the numbers. No, put
right.
it on view. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So remember what I said about the end of the radiator is where all the voltage is, and you work your way back from there.
Yes.
Okay. So zoom out and look at the whole antenna. Yep. Great. Okay. So where the top is at the cap hat, that's a high impedance point. That never changes.
High impedance.
That's the end of the antenna. It's always going to be high voltage, no current, high impedance. Because there's nowhere else for it to go. It's not connected to anything.
No, this is what you were telling me earlier. This does no actual RF work.
No, don't. Hold on. You're a step ahead of me, but
all right.
Hold on. So the end of this vertical wire, where the capacitive hat is at the top, that is high impedance, and it's high voltage and no current. And the red wire that the red line that we see is a current line. That's how the software is showing us where the currents are. Now, the one on the vertical is red and the one on the radials is blue. And all that signifies is that one is horizontal and the other is vertical. That's all it means. Okay.
Double half wave.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So if I know that the top of the antenna, okay, leave the image where it is and don't move it. Okay, look at the top where the cap hat is, and I know that is a high impedance point. It's high voltage, no current. Where's the next point that is also high voltage, no current? Yeah, you got it right there. Right. That's a half wave between those 2 points. Okay. And if I go further down, what do I get?
Get like this 5/8 wave kind of wanting to do a thing.
Yeah, it's not quite a full half wave to the floor. It's not completely high voltage. It's somewhere in the middle. So I have a half wave over almost another half wave.
Almost.
Right.
For all intents and purposes.
Right. Yeah. Right. And that's why I say when you zoom out, if you see the whole thing for what it is, it's easier to pick out. At least it is for me. Yeah, you have it. Just leave it be. It's fine. You don't just spin it around.
There you go. There she is.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Now look at your radials. Okay, so stop moving it. Just look at the radials. Okay.
Yep.
How many half waves do you see on each radial?
All to both of them.
Yeah. Right. And each radial is going 180 degrees opposite from its brother on the other side. So if the electrons on the radial that we're looking at, okay, don't spin it, leave it,
Sorry.
leave it. Okay, you've got a radial going
It's
down
hard.
to the bottom right hand corner of the screen, and you've got another radial going up in like the northwest direction, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay, and each radial has 2 half waves. Do you see that there's 2 humps there?
Yep.
On the radial? Okay, so in each hump is a half wavelength long. Okay. So the electrons are going from the center where your coax is connecting to the antenna, and they're going down one radial to the right, bottom right, but they're also going in the opposite direction in the upper left. They are opposing each other.
They're running away from each other.
They're going in 2 completely different directions. So they cancel. They do not radiate. They cancel each other out. It's like a north and a south pole. They cancel.
You can't
Nothing happens.
You can't radiate if you're doing the same thing away from each other.
Yep.
It's like
That's
two swimmers swimming away from each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But the vertical one has nothing below it. So it does radiate. There's only one of them. This is called a monopole antenna. Mono, one pole. And that vertical is the monopole.
Now, if we change the length of these two, we
yeah,
can
and
get them
those
to
two,
do something.
I don't think are joined because there's no
Is that
current
what it
on them.
is?
Yeah,
Is
there's
that
no
what it
current
is?
on them.
Let's look at them real quick. Was it you two? Let's see. Oh, I have no current now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Because you just have a wire there, but it's not connected.
my lines are not connected.
So hold on,
right.
hold on, because
Yeah.
this is actually really good.
Okay.
Look at your vertical. Look at the currents on the vertical.
All right, let me try. Oh, I see currents. They're hard to see.
Yeah, but
they're there.
But the slider on the left that says zoom current, you
It's
have it maxed out.
out.
Right. So there's so little current on that vertical now that you had a ton of current before. Now you've got almost nothing.
Yeah, you do not have
Why?
this much current.
But
They've got nowhere to go.
Bingo, because there's no radial to push against. That's why there's no current on the vertical part.
They don't really see this wire because they don't have a path, and the path is only created because an opposing field, because this is all magnetics.
Electricity needs to leave the source. Forget about antennas for just a second. Bear with me.
All right.
It's a circle that we're creating when you have electricity do work. You have, let's say, a battery and a light bulb, and you connect the two. The power comes out of the battery, goes through the light bulb, gives you some light, and then it returns to the battery. So if you disconnected the return wire going to the battery, the light bulb doesn't light up.
Man. You didn't tell me my ugly mug was hogging up the screen, Hollywood.
Oh. So it doesn't.
It's got nowhere to go. Yeah.
Right.
It's not a circuit.
If you just have a battery and a bulb, it doesn't matter where you put the switch. You can put the switch in the wire going out of the battery to the bulb, or you can put the switch from the bulb back to the battery. It doesn't matter.
Old Florida suicide wiring there.
But no. You don't overthink it. Just
I know.
real simple. It's a DC flashlight.
Right.
The point is, power has to come out of the source. In this case, it's a battery. It goes out and it goes to the load, which is the light bulb. It does some work for us, and then it must return back to the source. If it doesn't return to the source, no work is being done.
It's almost like it doesn't exist.
It has to flow. It's a circle. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So
the power exists. I'm saying the load doesn't exist. It's just open.
you're what I think what's happening is you're seeing it like 5 places ahead of where I am. I'm building a foundation so we can build upon that. So
Well, the load is presented from the radials, and we've completely messed.
no,
No?
it's not. No. The load is the entire antenna system.
Right.
That's the radials and the radiator and anything in the near field like trees or another building. Okay. So keep it real simple. You
Right.
understand that there's the battery and the bulb, it has to go in a circle. Are you with me that far?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. So in this case, we're feeding power at the junction right where your cursor is, that little circle, the red circle. That's where
Yeah.
the power is going in. And it's going up the wire, the vertical wire. And when it gets to the top, what does it do? Where does it go from there? That's like having the battery and the bulb and only one wire connecting them. No work is being done. We need a
Right.
return path. Right?
So are my radials broken here? I see a
Yes.
little bit of
Yes.
current. Okay.
Yes, they're disconnected. The radials are the return path.
Can I try to fix them?
Yes.
Okay. There's my hat. There's my radials. Okay. What's going on? Oh, this is one wire, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, that's the problem. It's its own singular wire. So we need to
Mhm.
go. We're going to make some fat radials. 1, 2. And now that I see that,
Mhm.
I want to see the top. We're going to make it real happy.
Yeah, you can do that. That's fine. Mm-hmm.
We're going to make it really happy. We're going textbook on
I think
this
that
one.
one's a little off. Well, no, it snapped. It's okay. It did it.
Am I inside? Oh, no, this one. This wire. No, we got to do the smudge tool. There we go. There. Square, 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 square. But I am not square.
As long as they're all connected in the center at the bottom of the antenna.
Yeah. Let's send it. All right. Something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
What have I done? What's that one? That one. Delete that one. I was on the wrong plane, I think, when I did all this. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've destroyed it. Excellent. Anyway. One day I'll learn better.
That's okay. So just make it simple. Do one at a time. Just delete all of those.
All right. So my main radiating element is good done. All right. We can look at it from the top. And now I will never be able to connect all that again. Draw a line from here down. And
Okay,
we need to
good.
change geometry. W2 base. Beginning end. Let's see if that fixed it. Nope.
So here's my suggestion, because there's very little there. Why don't you start with a fresh piece of paper, a fresh, start over. Because it'll take no time to draw the vertical, and it doesn't have to be a perfect length. Okay, so just do one radial for right now, because I
One
want to show
radial.
you what it's going to do.
And then geometry pulses probably going to be wire 1 beginning. Just a guess. Nope. End. Wire 1 end. Right? Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Do it.
Go ahead and feed it some RF. Yeah, and let's look at the view. No, look at the view, not the RF. No.
Oh, sorry.
At the view.
Wow. Woo! What is this thing?
Okay. What's our first observation? We see that we have currents.
We got it's sitting bad actually.
But there's current flowing. That's all don't overthink it. There's current flowing, right?
And it's really flowing on that radial.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
not right now. It's not important how many humps there are. It's not important how much current is flowing, just that there is current flowing.
Just gives me an idea how long this wire truly is at this
I'm
frequency.
But you're 2 steps ahead of me.
Sorry.
I just want you to see that there's current flowing and nothing more.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the next thing, I want you to get rid of that radial. Erase the radial and then run it again.
Okay.
Everything is the same. And look at view. Do you see any current flowing?
Nothing.
Nothing. That's the point. It needs a return path. That's why radials are so utterly important. And
Utterly.
a lot of hams skip over that. They go, well, I don't need any radials. I got a 5-band Hustler antenna, and I can put a 3-foot and wire up, and it'll radiate. It will radiate a little bit, but it won't be anywhere near what it should be. And this is the proof. Go ahead and draw a radial now, Siggy,
Okay.
but put a short one on there.
Short radial, you got it.
Yeah, like 1 square. Yeah, good. And then run it. Yeah. Okay, interesting. So look at how much current do we have on the vertical part. Okay. It's about the same as what we had when we had the long radial there.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. So it's enough for it to push against. Okay.
Because we only need the radial to be a half wave length at most of the fundamental frequency.
Don't overthink it yet. Don't overthink it yet.
Sorry.
Just the fact that there is something there for it to push again. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like if you're walking across the ice rink. You need traction. Otherwise, you can't walk forward. Walking on ice is very difficult because there's no traction. And this vertical part is you trying to walk, and without the radial, something to push against. That's the traction part of it. You don't go anywhere. There's no current flow. It's kind of the same thing.
We all focus towards the radiating element.
Yeah, I know. But that's
like
precisely why I'm doing what I'm doing with you right now, because the radials are the other half of the antenna.
It's like the unsung hero of the computer is the power supply.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Okay, so here's the next part of this lesson. How long is that radial? Let's take
man, that thing is teeny. Let's go look at it.
Just all you have to do is no, it's right there.
Oh, it's 4 meters. 12 feet.
Okay, great. Okay, so close this now. Okay, so it's 4 meters long, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Draw another radial now, also 4 meters long, exactly 180 degrees opposing,
All right.
going in the opposite direction. Perfect. And save it. And now run it. And then we'll look at it in view. Okay. Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay. Now don't spin it anymore. Just look
All right.
at it.
Okay.
Okay. So one radial actually has a blue curve to it. That's the current on the one radial. Right?
Okay.
Okay. The other radial also has a blue curve. Do you see that? Do you see
I do.
you see the blue curve above it?
I do.
Okay. Both radials are going in opposite directions. The current flow, the software cannot show you the flow of the current. It can only show you the amount of current, not the direction.
I think it just hit me here.
Yeah. They're opposing each other.
Right. They're
The current
nullifying.
Yes, they cancel each other out. So those two radials do not radiate,
Non-radiating.
but they provide traction. And that's the wrong term, but I'm overly simplifying it. They're providing something for the vertical part to push against. Because without them, there's no current in that vertical part. But with them, there is current flowing. So you always need radials that oppose each other in opposite directions. If you only have one radial, you don't have a vertical antenna. What you have is a bent dipole.
A dipole on its side, right?
Yeah, it's like an end fed. It's super long one way, super short the other way. But technically, it's still a dipole. It's not a vertical monopole, because you need two or more radials to oppose each other, to cancel each other out so that the radials don't radiate. And you can look at, we've got two radials here. If you click on far field, and let's look and see where the signal is actually going.
Mostly up, and then there's a little bit of lower lobature.
Mm-hmm. Now, I can tell you that most of it's going up because the vertical part is too long. And
it is. Let's shorten it.
No, don't shorten it. Just change
No?
the frequency.
All right.
You're feeding it 20 meters.
Let's go lower.
Feed it 75 or 80 meters.
Okay.
Just do the pull down. There's a
It's
button right next to megahertz.
Oh, sorry. It's almost
Right
like
next to megahertz, there's a button. There's an arrow.
Yeah, but there's no 75 on there, is there?
Yes, there is.
Oh, there is. Look at
3.5.
Oh, look, they have the official 75 number. It's 375.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Now run it again and look at the far field.
All right.
Aha.
Ah.
Okay. Because now the antenna is not too long, so its signal is pushing out to the horizon. Look at the view and look where your current is. The current is now at the middle. Yes.
Maximal.
Right. Right.
Oh man, this thing's a banger on 75 meters.
Right. It also, see, this picture tells us everything we need to know. We can also see
Wait a minute.
that
we don't have a cap hat.
No, you don't need one.
That's okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay, stop spinning it for a second. Leave it right where it is.
All right.
Okay. We can also see that the current is in the middle of the vertical part. Right? That's that red curve. That's the current. We also see most of the current is on the vertical part. Look at how far away that red curve is from the wire compared to how far away the blue curves are from the two radials.
They're not being impacted as much.
Right. So what that tells us is there's very little current flowing on the radials, but there's a lot of current flowing on the vertical part of the antenna that is the antenna that we want to make it shoot out to the horizon. That's where all the current is.
This is what we wanted to radiate.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah. Right. Right. And even though there's just a little bit of current on the radials, they are opposing each other, so they cancel each other out, and the net effect is that they don't radiate. That forces the signal to the vertical part where it is going to do us some good. Okay? So go back now to, I'm going to refresh. Go back to far field plots. Okay. So try to remember what that picture on the right-hand side looks like.
Okay.
Kind of fix that in your head, okay?
I can.
Okay. So now let's eliminate. Okay, you can do that. Good. That's a great idea. Great idea. Excellent idea.
You want to draw a new one?
No.
Nope.
I want to delete one radial.
Let's delete a radial.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And now calculate it not at 20 meters. No.
Oh,
Do the
drop
pull
down.
down menu and go to 3.7 and now run it. And look at the view. Okay. Again, most of the current is on the vertical part. So in this instance, it isn't going to have a lot of influence to the pattern.
Because our radiator is really in tune.
It's so long. We really have an end-fed half wave. That's what we've created here. So
shorten it up.
No.
Right.
Hold on. Look at the far field plot now. Let's compare pictures. They're almost the same.
It's a good idea, right?
Yeah, excellent idea. Bravo.
They are damn near identical. It cared not about that radial.
Okay, but we got rid of a radial.
A whole radial.
One of two. Still have the same. We still have the same pattern.
One of two.
Okay, so put your thinking hat on here, Ziggy. Why are they both the same? If we took away one radial, we're only running one radial now, and it still works. How can that be?
It still works because our wire is so close to our fundamental frequency of our antenna.
You're right. It's a half wavelength long.
It wants to run out on that wire.
Yep.
Because it's just the right racetrack length.
Yes, it's a half wavelength long. That's what you need to see. And you can see that from the current curve, that red. It's high voltage, high impedance at the top, and it's also high impedance at the bottom. It's a bad match to coax, but that right now, don't even worry about matching.
Oh, yes, no.
See that it's a half wavelength long.
That's one of my guilty pleasures about this software, is I tell people, these swears, don't even worry about that.
Don't worry about it.
Nope.
Exactly.
Nope.
Okay, look at view again. Okay, so how about if we cut the frequency in half?
Let's do that.
That's like making the antenna half as long. No. You went the wrong way. You doubled the frequency.
Oh, you want to go this way?
Now run it. So now the antenna will be roughly a quarter wave. Look at where our currents are now.
It's mostly at the damn feed point.
Yep. And it's not very much current there either, is there?
No, I've got zoom currents maxed.
Yep. Let's add another radial and see how it influences it.
All right. Just one?
Yep. So you've got two radials there.
You want to make these longer?
You can make them both even. Okay.
You want to make them longer?
Good. No, okay. Not yet. One thing at a time. Run it at 1825, right? Aha. I see
more current.
I see more current.
More current at the base.
Think about it. Why though?
Because we have double the amount of opposing current at the base.
Yeah. Add two more radials now.
All right.
No, look at it. Look at no. Stop.
Whoa.
Look at the picture. You didn't draw.
Oh no! What
So
have I
get rid
done?
of those two.
That one. Yeah, let's delete that. Boop. The 3D view is handy if you know what you're doing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Slow down and do the other two radials now.
There we go. This is all right.
Uh-huh.
YZ.
Yep. That looks good now. Oh, what do I see?
Way more current.
Even more current than we had with the two radials.
Like almost a maximal that you could possibly get from this.
Oh no,
because
you'll get
it's-
more. No,
Really?
you'll get more. You'll get
There's-
more.
But wait, there's
But-
more.
But the point, okay, pause for a second. The point is, when I had one radial, I had very little current. I
Yeah.
had two radials, I had more current. I had four radials, I have even more current. So what did we learn? The more radials that you add, when the vertical is a quarter wavelength long, the more radials you add, the more current is in the antenna system. And it's current that makes the radio wave.
It doesn't want to be down here.
They oppose. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You can have currents down there, but they're going in opposite directions. They cancel each other out.
That voltage is going to shoot towards the end.
Not the voltage, the current.
The current's going to
Current-
shoot
current-
towards the end. Fall to zero.
Voltage is the pressure.
Whoop.
Ziggy, voltage is the pressure in the line. So you're a mechanic, right? So if I step on the brakes, I got 1,000 psi in the cylinder at the brake at the brake shoes, right?
See, I would say that the pressure in the brake line is the current. The rate at which
No.
the fluid moves in the line
No.
would be the voltage.
No,
No.
no. The pressure in the line is voltage. How many gallons of brake fluid are in the system that are physically moving from one end to the other? That's the current. You can have no movement or very little movement of the liquid in the line,
So
but it creates a lot of pressure at the other end.
I
The
hate
pressure
using
is the
this word.
voltage.
I hate using the word literally, but it seems as what you're describing that we are physically talking about as if river current.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
current would be a massive volume.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
The pressure is the voltage, and how many
How
actual
much of it?
electrons. If you were to count each individual electron that's flowing through the antenna system, and you add them all up and you get 1 billion of them, that's the amount of current. Each individual electron. Now, how much they push is the voltage. They're two different things.
I want to make these radials much longer.
Sure, let's do it. You know what though? Can I make another instead of you're going to do that in a second. I'm going to let you do that, but before you do that, let's add 2 more. Same length.
Okay.
Just to prove the point. Just let's see what happens to the current.
Is this top down XY?
I don't know.
No.
Be careful.
Z something is going to be top down. Well, no, everything's all. Let's throw one here and see where we are.
And look at it.
I
Yeah.
don't understand it. Doing something.
Okay, so you know what? Let's do it your way. Let's just take the 4 that we've got. We know those work. Make them twice as long.
I think I'm drawing on a
That's right. You got it.
Unrealized plane here. Anyway,
Perfect.
and we're going for the mother frequency.
Right.
All right, and view.
Right.
Even more current.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
As much current as you have radio, basically.
Uh-huh.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, quarter waves sure are simple, aren't they?
They are. And a quarter wave, the impedance in a theoretically perfect quarter wave is around 35 ohms.
A
So
35
everybody
ohm
looks, yeah,
quarter wave. No.
Yep.
Hold on. I have questions. Is that
Sure.
at a 90-degree radial plane?
Yeah. If you have an infinite amount of radials,
At a 90-degree
you
plane.
get 1,000,000 radials,
Right.
and they're the perfect length. And the vertical part is exactly a quarter wavelength tall. The theoretical impedance where your red dot is will be 36 ohms.
It's kind of a hot impedance.
No, 36 ohms?
Well,
That's
I
not
mean,
high.
as opposed to 50.
36 is lower than 50.
Right. It's more of a
It-
load than 50.
It's a lower impedance than your average coax. Right. So
More, yeah.
so
Which is great because we want a resistive load anyway.
you want it, well, you want the load to match whatever transmission line you're using. That's
Correct.
the ideal.
But you wouldn't want it on the opposite side. Right? Like you wouldn't want a 150 ohm presentation versus a 40 ohm presentation. It's better to be on the more resistive ohmic. I would assume anyway. I would want the load to present itself more so than to be more of an open circuit.
If it's an open circuit, no current will flow.
Right.
That's like the battery in the bulb, and there's only one wire connecting them. There's no flow of current if it's an open. And if it's a short circuit, then it's all current and no voltage. And that's no good either. So just always keep in the back of your mind, a quarter wave antenna, what we're looking at, where that red dot is, if everything is perfect and we have an infinite number of radials, not 4, but if we had 500 radials, that red dot would be 36 ohms.
36 ohms.
Now, where does 36 ohms come from? Do you know what the impedance of a dipole is?
72.
What's half of 72?
That number that you just said.
36. Because this is half of a dipole. There's only
Right.
one.
So
Right.
here's half the dipole, and here's the apex, and then there would be the other half of the dipole.
Yep, below the ground. Right.
Got it.
So those radials are electrically creating the other half of the dipole. But since it isn't there, the impedance is half. In order to get the same work done, you have to push double the current through it. The impedance goes down. Anyway, that's more theory than we need to get into. We'll just keep it simple. But the takeaway here is that the more radials that you add, the more current goes into that quarter wave vertical. It's not critical if it's a half wave vertical, because then it's a high impedance point. So the radials are not as important. It needs some radial, but it doesn't have to be a lot of them. You can get by with one, and a very short one at that. But a quarter wavelength one, you need at least 2. I'd like to see 15 or 20 of them, and each one be a quarter wavelength long, and then you'll have good efficiency. Go ahead.
I believe that it's the antenna manufacturer, I think it's Sirio. I don't know how to
Mhm.
pronounce it.
Yep.
But they have an antenna, and the only reason why I bring this up because I drive past a gentleman that lives in a like semi retirement kind of like apartment type situation,
Mhm.
and he basically has like 2 squares of grass for a backyard.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But what I love, and one day I'm gonna get the courage to meet this gentleman because he is doing the most, like more than most hams that I know of. He Hollywood, he's got like in-fed half-wave wires strung like on little pieces of uh of pipe like all around his
Yeah.
gutter. He's
Yeah.
got this quarter wave with a single radial, and I believe I looked it up. It's like a Sirio product. It's like an 11-meter quarter wave. It's just a single radial, single element kind of
Mhm.
doodad. And then I've seen him out there. He's got like all these different. He does all this from inside of his home, and he runs the infed of the wire on his other antennas. He runs it through the screen door.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So he's actually loading most of the current inside of his home. One could say.
Yeah.
But I mean, my hat's off because I drive past his house every day on my way to work, and I go, that guy's out there having the time of his life playing his radio, and here I am driving to work.
You got the angel and the devil, one's on each shoulder, and they're fighting with each other. Quit your
Right.
job. No, keep your job. You know? Bill's one of those.
But it's without a fail. Like every week, that wire has changed. Like he's got it a little different every time, and this antenna is a little different. So that's how I know he's active. So I he's in a retirement community.
You need to have a conversation, meet the guy, have a beer with him, whatever, and maybe have him on as a guest on your channel.
That would be great. That would be great
because he's experimenting, and that's fantastic, and that'll help a lot of people.
Real quick, my Elmer, he how many tours? Like 5 or 7 tours overseas. They had some kind of radio system and it wasn't working well. And he took out his damn wooden ruler and he measured the damn antenna. And he knew the operating frequency.
Absolutely.
He said this is not good, and he offered a suggestion. They said absolutely not. Do not modify those radios. He pulled the cap off of every single one. He took his dikes to him and he clipped them all. Yeah, and he said his whole troop got through what they needed to do with those radios after that.
There you go.
Yeah. So
this is why this software is so good. It's simple to run. It shows you pretty much everything that you need to know. and this picture that we're looking at is it. I mean, you can chase the numbers till the cows come home, but this picture tells me it's a low impedance antenna. I probably don't have enough radials there, but I can see where the current's going. And in my mind, I know how it's going to play against the horizon. Just from that, I don't need to see the numbers. And I know that comes with experience, but you can also give the student just the numbers and without this picture. And most of the time they're lost. That's why these pictures are they're super.
For a very unplanned antenna, at 5 bananas at -2.6, I dare anybody to just come up with something that'll do better. Oh, she's hot up high. But I guess this is what I was looking at was this yellow ring.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So how about if we try this? How about
Sure.
if we take this antenna, but instead of having it play 100 meters up in the air,
Okay.
let's put it 1 meter above. And then run the same thing. Oh, we can't
We
because
can't.
because yeah, see it says 19 meters. So make it 20 make it 20 meters above the
21.
ground. Yeah. Yep. It's the way that you drew it,
I
and
drew
that's
it.
okay.
I
But that's
drew it
okay.
short.
So now we're 1 meter above, right? Oh.
Oh my god! All right,
Oh.
5 bananas.
Mm-hmm.
I have to see it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's a DX queen.
Mucho better. Mucho
you're-
better. Now,
Wait a minute. Hold on. What did you do? You freaking gangster! What the shit?
oh, I didn't do anything. You did it.
Okay. All right. We
But
took
I
it out of
want you
free
to
space.
understand
We
why.
took it out of free space.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Why did this happen?
Here,
Why do we
just
have
do
a
that.
superior antenna now?
All right. So this is not free space. Or no, this is absolute. You're not ever going to have it. So this isn't real. Real. Run it. Far field. Yes. 5 bananas.
Okay.
5
So
degrees.
what did we change?
We made it real.
No,
No?
no, it was always real. No.
Oh,
What
the
we
height
did
above
was
ground.
the height, right. So
Oh, there's more.
now-
There's even more current.
Yes, that's right.
There's even more
Bec-
current. It's
okay,
using the
so-
ground.
Okay, so stop for a second and let's
Right.
talk about this because this is
Okay.
really important.
All right.
When the antenna was 100 meters, 300 feet above the ground, it
On
had-
a rocket.
it only had the 4 radials to push against.
Oh, okay.
Now
Right.
it's 1 meter. It's 3 feet above the ground.
You know, nobody talks about the radial reference sitting on top of the reference.
Buddy, that's why I'm here.
I love you.
That's why I'm trying to break it down into
Nobody
little
ever
pieces.
talks about the ground on top of the
Uh-huh.
ground.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Right.
I never thought about that.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
It's not one or the other. It's all two both at the same time.
It's everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Kassler said it very well. Everything influences everything. So the height of it's the same antenna. All we did was we lowered it down to the ground from 300 feet down to 3 feet above the ground. And it radically changed where the signal is going. So what that tells us is the physical earth below the antenna is equally, well, maybe not equally, but it is very important to how the antenna works. If I took the same antenna and I'm only 3 feet above ground, but I'm in the middle of the Sahara Desert, it's going to play differently than if it's 3 feet above the ground on a saltwater swamp. Very different.
Simultaneously, this high current at the feed point
Mhm.
it's gonna be hard on our tuner.
Why?
Why not?
Why do you
Or
think
wait a
it's
minute.
gonna be
Hold on.
hard
Hold
your
on. I'm
tuner?
sorry. I'm thinking of voltage.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I want to hear your explanation.
Okay. So oh man, I'm questioning myself now. No,
That's good.
so it's totally
good.
backward. It's totally backwards, right? So like how in my brain I learned
Yeah.
from coming from a DC child's world is that I
Yep.
have no voltage, high current, and I swing this way to a wiggly worm of voltage.
Okay.
So I have this swingy do, which is totally inverse of what we're looking at.
That's correct.
Right.
You're right.
Right.
As
And
voltage
so-
goes up, current goes down.
Right. So my entire life I've been learning backwards from this all the way. Like I come from, a DC electronics background, and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden I had to go wire commercial buildings for 10
Yep.
years.
Yep.
You want to talk about like having all your feelings crushed.
Yep.
You know
Yep.
nothing. You don't know the first thing. Like even grounding, nope.
Yeah.
Totally wrong.
Often this I see this a lot in that the early on thank you. Thank you, Jeff. The early on textbooks that we get when we're really young will give us the basics, but sometimes the basics are so overly simplified that they miss key points that you then you go to the next level, the next grade, or 3 years down the road, and you see it from and they give you a different textbook, and it doesn't agree with what you've just learned, which is exactly what you're describing right now. You learned it as voltage,
Right. Yeah, I'm
which is
and
fine.
I still do to this day, and I have to like keep that, like I can't tell anybody that.
No, you can. You can.
But
Listen,
but
we're all brothers. We're okay with that. That's
my
not a problem.
my brain can talk one way and think about it in
Yeah.
another way. Yeah, I have no problem with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I look at the end of my infeds, I'm looking at a really high voltage little son bitch, and if there's some mismatch, it's gonna find me rather than its feed point.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. Like
Let's change this.
I've lit myself up many
Yep.
times, Hollywood.
Yep. Yep.
There's nothing like an RF burn. Like I'll take a 120 burn over an RF burn any day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm with
The
you.
120 lets go, and it's just like it'll shake you up. The RF burn, it's gonna
Right.
stay for a minute.
Right. 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 The 120 is changing on and off. It gives you, it's a very small time, but it gives you some time for you to pull away from it. You know,
It's possible
um,
still.
yeah, if it doesn't kill you, but yeah, but RF
It's just as bad as
doesn't
DC.
it
It
doesn't
seems like.
constrict RF doesn't constrict the muscles, but it cooks the muscle.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. It doesn't work with the nervous system that you're squeezing and you're holding on like you would with house current. Instead, it burns the muscle like you stuck your hand in a microwave oven. I mean, it's not quite that way, but so that you get the idea. I'm overly simplifying it right now, okay?
Right.
But then the muscle doesn't work because it's cooked. It's a steak that's cooked. It doesn't work anymore. You can't release, and you continue to cook. And that's it. So this is a quarter wave antenna. When we feed it at 160 meters.
Whoops. Yes.
And we see that it's high current at the bottom, low current at the top. Okay. And the radials have some current on them, and they're opposing so they don't radiate. Okay. Let's now, without drawing anything, let's make it a half wave antenna. We can do that. Instead of feeding at 160 meter frequency, feed it an 80 meter frequency.
All right.
Double the frequency. That will be like doubling the length of the antenna. And then look at the view. Right. So
Okay.
this now looks like an end-fed half-wave antenna. The current is in the middle, not at the bottom anymore. The voltage is still at the end of the wire at the top. That never changes. No matter what frequency you put into that wire, you will always see at the end zero current, very high voltage. And that's why I tell everybody start there and work your way back, because it never changes. It's always the same every time. Okay?
I love the work your way back. That's
Yeah.
starting. That's starting to like hit me every time I
Yeah.
try to. Yeah,
It never
it's done it
it never changes. It's always
two.
the same.
I'm not gonna lie, like 2 or 3 times now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was working from the wrong end.
When
Ever since you told me that.
when I was learning it, and I'm not throwing any particular series of books under the bus. I'm not even going to name them.
No, it's okay. I'm waiting on my
But-
lawsuits too.
When you read the standard literature that most hams read,
Which I
most
didn't.
of the time, they measure from where the coax is feeding the antenna, because we're looking at the SWR. We're all fixated on the SWR at the feed point.
I know, isn't it a shame?
And so when we cut the antenna, you see the end up at the top, up in the sky, that end never changes as far as voltage and current goes. The feed point does change. And so I say, instead of looking there at the bottom, when you draw it out, always start at the far end away. That is a known. We know there's no current, very high voltage, very high impedance. It's always the same. And then work your way back from there from a known. Otherwise, you're lost in the woods. You can have a compass and no map and you're lost. You go in circles. But if you know where you are when you start on your journey, then you can, draw a line and say, I'm going from point A to point B. That's where I want to end up.
I'd like to add that it also makes drawing the antenna a lot of fun because
Mhm.
you can start with pretty much an idea. It doesn't matter the length of it at the moment.
Mhm. Mhm.
You can adjust that. And I hate to say this, but you have to do it from the far end back.
That's right. You got it. Yep. And I honestly have yet to see I'm not taking credit for it.
Like
But
we
I
all
have
would have
yet-
started the radio, run the
I have
feed
yet to
line,
see a
hit
book
the
that
antenna.
says
Nope.
that.
No,
I-
I've never heard of it. No,
No,
and
I've never seen it.
like I said, you told me that, what was it? Yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since then, 2 or 3 times I've been screwing around with my antenna. I'm like, oh God, I have to work this away. Not that way.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I'll never figure it out this way.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh.
in front of us now, we're looking at a half wave radiator.
And it's not too bad. It's kind of got that 5/8 kind of high
Yeah.
current at the base.
Yeah.
Kind of do that. Can I look at it real quick?
Yep.
What a monster.
That's a killer.
God damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
That's you've hit the target. That's it.
Let me see the bananas here. Where are we? 5 bananas.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Not terrible. But you know what? You can do a lot of damage with that.
Big time.
Yeah.
Go to view again.
Sure. This view? Or no, the other view.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That view.
Yeah. Look at the radials. Look at how much current is on the radials.
It's not worth talking about.
You got it. Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo. Bingo. You got it. I could cut those radials not in half. I could cut them not even in a quarter. I could probably 1/8 of that size, and it would still play the same
What
because there's very little current. Try it.
can we talk about this current though? On the red at the
Sure.
All right, that's going to be here. So we're Z ohms. There we go.
So we're talking about
For
different things, though.
the layman with Z ohms though, 3,000 Z ohms of impedance to feed this antenna.
Right?
Yeah.
And we know that from the view picture.
The view
So
picture.
you don't even need the numbers. This is what I'm trying to get you to see.
Right, because this is so far away from here, right?
Well, if it was right on top of the line, like it is at the top. Now don't move it too much. We can
Okay.
see it.
All right.
Okay. If the red curve at the top of the antenna, see how it's touching? It's touching the vertical wire.
Here.
No, at the top of the antenna.
Okay.
Yep. That red curve touches the top of the wire. It's right on it. It starts right at the end of the vertical wire.
That's the end of the antenna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because that curve touches the wire in this picture, what that means is there's zero current there. Zero. As the red curve goes away from the wire, there's more and more current, and it maxes out at the halfway point. Halfway down on that vertical wire, that red curve is the furthest away from the wire. That means it has maximum current at that point, but at the top it has zero current.
Right.
Zero.
Yeah.
Nothing. You can't have any less than zero, right? Okay. So
Nope.
at the bottom, if the red curve were touching the wire at the bottom, there would also be zero current there.
Oh, you can't have that.
Oh, you can.
Can you?
You can. It's a bugger to feed. But it can be done.
Okay. Okay.
would-
We're talking
you would-
about theoretical perfection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. And because there's very little current flowing at the bottom, there is some, but there's much less there than there is at the halfway point. Because there's less current at the bottom, we know from Ohm's law, if there's less current, there must be a higher voltage, and that also means there must be a higher impedance. Remember when we fed it at 160, it was half of this length, and all of the current was at the bottom, and it was a low impedance antenna. I said it was going to be around 36 ohms.
Oh, that's what I wanted to know. So the current's high at the feed point. That means it's a lower impedance.
Yes, yes,
That's
that's
what
Ohm's
I wanted.
law.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yes,
Okay,
if the
hold on.
current, okay, so
My pencil. Where's my pencil?
forget about math for a second.
High current, low impedance.
We're going to
Got it.
make this real simple. Everybody watching is going to get
I'll
this
fir-
instantly.
I'm gonna forget this. Hold on. High current, low impedance. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's theoretically, in our mind, we have a car battery in front of us.
And it's flat because
No,
you work
it's
in a
fully charged. It's brand new.
shithole.
Okay.
Fresh battery.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a crowbar across the battery terminals.
Excellent.
What's going to happen? How much current is going to flow through the crowbar? I don't need an actual. Yeah.
a
Right.
1,000 amps.
Right. You got it. Bingo. Bingo. Why? Because it's a low impedance. That
Right.
crowbar is not impeding the flow of the electrons.
It'd
It's
be hard
letting
pressed
them
to
all
find
go
something
through.
better. Be hard
What?
pressed to, I said it'd be hard pressed to find something better.
Right. Right. So what did we learn? A low impedance means high current flow.
Low impedance.
And high current flow
Is
if
a
you
low
have high
impedance.
current flow,
Holy
you know
shit,
you've
it's-
got low impedance.
It's the damn flippy floppy.
Yes, that's all it is. That is Ohm's law. I mean, that's overly simplified, but so that you can picture it. Okay?
High impedance, low current.
Right. Right. If I put instead of the crowbar, I put a piece of nichrome wire from a toaster. It's going to glow red. It's going to give off some heat, but there won't be 1,000 electrons, 1,000 amps going through it because it's a high impedance now. I might have 50 amps going through it, but not 1,000. Right? So if it's high resistance or high impedance, it's a little bit of current. It's low current
Oh,
because it's resisting the flow.
it's so simple when you say it like that.
That's why I'm here.
It's
got
painful. It's painful.
Yeah, I know. Well, see, this is the thing. Look, I struggled with this crap. This is my calling. This is why I'm here to help. Okay, not you, everybody.
No.
because-
I'm not deflated. I'm trying to absorb.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ziggy. Okay, I'm going to let you into Hollywood's world. You're one of the and everybody at home. You got to take your headphones off. You got to get up, leave. Everybody leave. Okay. So
It's a child-free zone right now.
I struggled with this for years and years and years. Okay. I got to fix 50,000 watt transmitters because I'm licensed to do so.
Right.
But when
Got
I wanted
that G license or whatever.
yeah,
whatever
it's first class FCC. So when I was of college age and I was taking the exam, the guy teaching the class for this FCC exam, his job was not to teach us electronics. I wanted to learn the electronics, but that was not his job. His job was to get us to pass the exam and nothing more. And my argument was, what good is the license if you can't fix the transmitter? If you don't know what's wrong with it, what good is the paper?
That's a big transmitter too.
Yeah.
That's not some bullshit
Right.
in the backyard. You could kill somebody.
And most likely yourself.
You could kill yourself.
Very, very in the blink of an eye.
Oh no, yeah.
Okay. So now we fast forward in time, and I've done all that, and I've learned a gazillion things along the way, most of which is self-taught. And so now my goal is to hand the baton over, to mentor, to show some other people that are interested what I've picked up and how I've picked it up, because I think it will make it easier for them in the long run.
Hollywood, I need you, and there's no doubt about that. My biggest problem when it comes to what I do with antennas is my language barrier. I think it has a lot to do with me living in Florida, for one. But I'm not.
Are you saying I talk funny?
No, I'm saying, and I'm not the only one. I've got friends that like reach out to me like in email and say, "Hey, man, I'm a extra class operator also, and everybody thinks I'm as dumb as a box of rocks." And I was like, "Hey, brother, I'm right here for you."
Yeah.
Vent to me. I understand we have a little bit of a language barrier sometimes.
Sure.
But I guarantee you there is a lot of smart people in Louisiana and Mississippi and Florida and Georgia and in Texas.
And there's also a lot of dumb people in Massachusetts too.
I just thought it was interesting that so here's the caveat to this argument. All this garbage that I just dumped is that there's the majority of 11 meter operators in these states. What? This is not a coincidence. I think it has a lot to do with language.
Yeah, some of it. Yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong. Anyway, I'll shut up.
Some of it's language. Some of it is schooling. CB is great. I started with CB. I started with 11 meters.
I think it's an unrealized thing coming full circle into this.
I never throw 11 meters under the bus. I mean, I started with a walkie-talkie at 7 years old and, went from there.
I'm looking at 4 CB capable, 5 CB capable devices right now.
Yep. And you know what? That's what I really like about Salty Walt and his channel.
I love
because he
Salty
also
Walt.
doesn't throw CB under the bus.
I love
See,
he does
11
he
meters.
does POTA on export
Yes.
radios like a
Yeah.
gangster, like
Yeah.
a true gangster.
Hey, 11 meters used to
Hats
be a
off to
ham
ya.
band.
It used to long. Hold on.
Right.
Shh. You're saying too
Right.
much now.
There's no difference between 11 meters and 10 meters. The
I
way
know.
it propagates, the equipment used, it's all the same.
So 11 meters used to be the like what's it called? IS Industry Science.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? IS. What is it called?
I know what you're trying to say, and I don't know what the verbiage is either. But it's
Unlicensed,
a lot of doctors-
experimental. Have
Yep.
fun.
Yep, and it's industrial too. It's above
Industrial.
channel 40 and below 10 meters in that
So
no man's land.
so 11 used to be the experimental zone for hams that were licensed in the 10 meter zone,
Mm-hmm.
but money got in the way, I
Yep.
guess.
Yep. Before you don't click on far field yet.
I'm holding my breath. I was
want you
waiting.
to-
I was waiting for you.
I want you to look at this,
Okay.
and I want you to take a guess of where the signal is going to go, but then I also want you to back it up and tell me why you think it is so.
Okay, so
And I'm not
immediate-
judging you. I'm just having a friendly
No.
conversation.
No, you want to hear my
Yeah.
my thought dump.
Yeah.
So I have radial interaction. I also have a slight mismatch here at the base,
Mm-hmm.
but I have equals here. So this means I'm going to have multi-lobulars
Mm-hmm.
all the way
Mhm.
around, but I'm going to have some kind of crazy disturbance from the bottom. That's my guess.
Okay.
And
Here's
I'm thinking, hold on. I've got a more prediction here. I'm thinking, what's this frequency that we're at? What did I pick? Can I see? Okay, 20 meters. This was 20 meters. Being that it's folding over that many times, it's only going to be, right? Is this the right words? Am I
It's gonna
using
be
the right
what?
words? It's folding over so many times from the feed point, it's going to be more projected this way. Is that right?
You're
Yeah?
right. You're
Can
right.
I look at it at the
Yes.
answer now? All
Yes.
right.
You got it.
I did it.
Yes. Bravo.
Ah,
Bravo.
yeah.
Very good.
yeah. And the current mismatch explains this bottom takeoff, right?
Maybe.
Because there's current interaction on the radials, and then there's a current offset at the base, which gives me this bottom takeoff of current.
Yeah, the first half wavelength is probably creating that bottom takeoff, but you've got three more half waves, and
It's-
they're all combining and shooting at a 60
very-
degree angle up.
Very optimistic of me, not even getting out of the green, right?
But here's
But
the,
I recognized it.
but here's the real takeaway: is I want you to see. Close this up and look at the view again.
Yep.
And look at the currents. The currents will tell you everything you need to know. I've got 1, 2,
minute.
3.
Are these two going to cancel each other out because they're
No,
going to fall onto each other?
No.
No.
The-
This was an angle of radiation, right here.
Okay. The
Yeah,
ones
this is-
that cancel are the radials that are opposing each other.
Okay,
They cancel.
right.
So left and right cancels and front to back radials will cancel each other. So the radial field, all four of those radials combined, do not radiate. The only thing, an electrical engineer would argue with me, but I'm overly simplifying it. In your mind, look at those radials and say, they oppose, they don't radiate, they don't contribute to the radiation pattern.
Yep.
What is doing the lion's share of the work is the vertical part. And how many half waves do I have on that vertical?
Like the most you would.
No. Just look at the picture and count them. How many half waves do I have there?
4.
Right. Exactly.
What I'm
That's-
saying is about the premium number. Any more than that, I think you're pushing it on a.
any more than one, you're pushing
Oh,
it.
is that so? Oh,
Because
breaking my heart.
we saw what one looked like, right? It shot it right up to the horizon. It was beautiful. We all agreed it was a DX killer.
Do we have time to draw a 80-meter infed half wave 30
You don't
feet
have
off the
to.
ground?
You don't have to. Just change the frequency. Just
Okay.
keep what you've got
Well,
and
I'd have
change the
to.
frequency.
I'd have
No.
to make a parallel counterpoise.
To do what now?
So like an infed half wave, like a 80-meter infed half wave.
No. All you have to do is change the frequency. It's
Okay.
already there. You're feeding it at 14 megs. Feed it at
I
3.7.
I get it. It's
1/4
to-
of the
I-
frequency.
I have to let go of the currents too. Not only do I have to let go of the SWRs, I have to let go of the currents.
Yeah. SWR should be the last thing to think about.
Okay.
So divide the frequency. No. Not
Divide.
multiply by 2. Divide by 4.
Divide by 4.
14 divided by 4. Okay, that's divided by 8.
14 divided by 4. You're
Yeah.
talking about
3.7. Yeah.
okay.
In that ballpark.
View.
And now look at the view. Now, how many half waves do you see?
All one of them.
Only one, because we divided by 4. Right?
Mhm.
Okay. Now look
This-
at the far field plot and look at where the radiation's going. Okay. So do you agree with me that 1 half wave is really the optimum size?
Oh, absolutely.
That
Yes.
puts
No.
it out of the horizon.
No, it does. You're right.
When
And you would.
when I have
des-
4, let me just finish. When I have
Yeah.
4 half waves, 4 of them, they combine and they fight each other. And now the signal doesn't go to the horizon. It goes up. Right?
Yeah.
So really what you want is an antenna that's a half. That's why all dipoles are a half wave. It's just physics. Half wave is the most efficient.
It really is. I love
I mean,
it in fed half
you
wave.
can argue, you can say, well, 5/8, 3/4. Yeah, it was splitting hairs, but we're not talking 4 times.
So people first got a hold of me, and I'm the 80-meter infed half wave, like impedance tuning, like down to the quarter turn off the toroid kind of guy.
Right.
But I learned something really quick. You can be really good at like 20, 30, and 40,
Mm-hmm.
or you can be really good at 40, 60, and 80,
Right.
or you could be really good at, you know what I mean?
That's right. That's exactly right. You got it.
And so people would ask me, I'm like, hey man, what do you want to play on most? I'm like, I want to do all of them. I'm like, all right, so how many antennas you want?
Yep.
And I was like, me personally, the only time I get to play antenna is, around 40, 80 time. But I want to be on 40, but I don't want to be on 80. I want to be on 75. So I threw a very high voltage. I actually have one somewhere. Can I show you? I can show you.
Sure. Great.
A very high voltage. Where's my camera? Oh, my camera's over there today. You gotta love kids. This is not where it's supposed to be. These are so hard to find, Hollywood.
Oh yeah. Doorknobs. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
I had a guy over in Ukraine.
Yep.
And this was long story short, I think his supply got blowed up.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, he offered me a refund, and I said, "Hey, man, if don't worry about it for now." And like he ended up finding some, and he sent them to me, and a few of them were cracked.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
from the explosion.
Nice. New old stock.
Yes, new old stock. So you can take one of these, and you can make a little former, and they're pretty strong, but you wouldn't want to actually put the load on this device.
No,
You would want to
no.
put a strain relief. But anyway,
Right.
so what is this? Yeah, about 100 or 150 picofarad, depending on how it is. So anyway, this is what I use right in the smack middle of my 80 meter infed half wave that
Right.
I pretty much only use for 80 and 40. And this will bring me into, talking shit with the boys.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Right up there at 3.9.
Exactly.
But it doesn't touch 40 meters.
That's right.
40
Because
meters doesn't see it.
that's right.
It's beautiful.
Capacitors do not pass DC, and low frequencies have very high impedance. And as you go up in frequency, they have less and less and less resistance through that capacitor. So at 80 meters, it doesn't matter what the number is, how many bananas, what the resistance is. It doesn't matter. Let's call it 100, just to keep the number simple. But when you go to 40 meters, it's not 100 ohms of resistance that capacitor is putting in the middle of the antenna anymore. Now it's probably, 20 ohms.
Right.
And if I go up in frequency again, now I'm up at 20 meters, it might be 2 ohms. It's transparent. It's not even there. Yeah, it's good stuff.
I'm listening.
The other thing, what we've talked about tonight is basics of where the signal goes, and that it, should be a half wavelength long. You can make it maybe 2 half wavelengths, but once you get above that, things start to fall apart. And we saw that if it's 4 half wavelengths long, it really goes cuckoo. It feeds off of the end.
Right.
It doesn't go out to the horizon anymore. Okay, so that's one half of building antennas. I'm not going to get into it because we're out of time, but the other half, I'm going to give you a teaser, is once you get the antenna the right length for putting the signal where you want, the second half is matching. See, everybody looks at matching first.
Matching houses. Is that what they're called? Dog houses? What is it?
Well, some people do it with a tuner. Some people do it with changing the physical length of the wire.
Right.
It achieves the same result. But the problem is that most people start with, I have to get the holy grail of a 1-to-1 match. And that's backwards. What they should look at is, go ahead, bring that up, is they should look at where is the signal going? Where is it going? Does it hit the target by the design? I don't care what the match is. I don't care what the SWR is. Just does it go where I want it to go? And then when you can say yes to that first question, then you can match the impedance. But if you match the impedance first, you will almost always get the target wrong.
You're the first person I've ever said aloud. So a lot of people give me compliments about my toroid winding skills.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody ever wants to talk about that. It's not necessarily every single time you make a pass through the inside of it. It's every single surface contact point that you make on this thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can it's not a full loop at a time. You can cut that thing down into quarters or eighths if
That's
you
right.
really wanted to.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. It's exactly right.
I've found myself in between like 11 and 12 wraps, and I'm like, what do I do? And I just soldered a little bit of wire and just kind of like, did a little one of these here, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yep.
Leave it alone. It looks ugly as shit.
Yep. But it works, right? Exactly.
Oh no,
You
it
can
was,
go between turns. Sure. Yeah.
oh yeah, no, I was behind the decimal.
Yeah. Well, that's how a roller inductor works. You're not jumping each full turn. You're going between each turn.
Hollywood, can I tell you how much I hate my roller inductor? Can I tell you why?
Yeah, why? Please. Yeah.
Because I was on my way to mail it off to Ape,
Okay.
and I was distracted, and somebody else was calling. Oh no, it was Magical Mike. Yeah, he was calling me bright and early. He was having tower problems because I engineered the tower for him, so he's got to
Yeah.
call me every day. And I left my MFJ Deluxe Versa Tuner 2 on the top of my car, my roller inductor, mint condition. Yeah, and I drove off.
Mm-mm.
And I actually got out onto the county road, and then I heard that thing take flight, and I looked I heard something. I looked in my rear view, and that thing was 20 feet in the air, and it was flipping in the sun. Hollywood, have you heard this story?
No.
Really?
No,
okay.
This is a first. No.
So check it out. It landed on all fours like God intended.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it went slap though.
Uh-huh.
So it blew the little needle meter, right out of its little holder.
Right.
But beside from a little scuff here and there and some rubber feet, it still rolls and inducts and
Wow.
it still capacitates, and you could throw 100 watts into its dummy load, and it switches antennas still.
Fantastic.
No, I look at it, it's like a bad omen in my shack. Because it's all beat up, and it's like the best thing I have technically.
It has
Well,
character.
It does. It's all beat the shit up. But that Daiwa tuner though,
sometimes
you can't get that. You just can't get that anymore.
The old equipment that is beat up is the most fun and teaches us the most because we're not afraid of it.
I put a bunch of cuss words in Sharpie on the inside of the
Yeah.
roller inductor.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
the next guy. I was like, I'm going to be long and dead, and some young guy's going to crack this open and shit his pants laughing.
Yeah. So for the folks that are watching, I don't know, because I can't see. I'm on StreamYard. So
I can't see either.
These are capacitive hats at the top of WNEW AM. It's gone now, but this fed Manhattan, New York. And why are the capacitive hats there at the top? Because those towers are too short for that frequency. So this is how the engineering team got around it. They add cap hats, and it electrically makes them longer. Cap hats are more efficient than base loading. A loading coil will work, but it robs some power. And by using the cap hat, you get the efficiency back.
My understanding is they were being metered. They were being metered. They were being measured at a radiation amount, and they weren't meeting the standards of the time.
Yes, that's correct. And that time doesn't really change. The FCC, when you pull a license for the radio station.
But the match on the transmitter was good.
Oh, yeah. So was my dummy load.
Okay.
I know Ape is going,
no,
God, that again?
No, that's fair. That's a fair. That's
he brought it up tonight in his stream
you're
tonight.
right.
That's why I threw it out.
You're right.
But it's true.
No, it's true.
It's not in
I mean, we're talking about the feed line weirdo, right?
Well, this is why I try to get people to realize, because I know we're taught from early on, and some of it is 11 meters. When you read the 73 magazine or the CB magazine, and it says, well, the match on this Magnum mount antenna will be 1.3 to 1, and you go, that's fantastic. Well, who the hell cares? It's not about the match. It's about how much signal does the damn thing put into the air so that your buddy can hear it down the road. That's what's
right.
important.
It matters not.
Put the picture back up if you can.
I'm sorry.
I went on a tangent, but I do want to talk about this because it's really important. So the cap hat adds, you've got a capacitor, remember, is two conductors separated by something. One conductor is the earth. That's one plate of the capacitor. The something separating it is the air. And the other plate is at the top of the tower. So that forms a capacitor. It's very, very small. It may be only 2 picofarad.
This just looks like some structure. You know what
it
I mean?
is. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
It's just a piece of steel.
Some structure.
It's a pie plate made out of steel.
It's just some place for some energy to go.
Yes.
So,
right.
Here's my question.
Sure.
Is heat being generated here?
No.
Okay.
No. There's no heat. It's voltage at that point. It's the top of the antenna. It's just voltage.
Well, I mean, electrically at the end of the theoretical antenna, it's voltage. But as we come back, there's some current pulled back from here. Because
no. I see what you did. I see what you did with the pointer. You were drawing above the tower. They didn't cut the tower.
There's nothing here.
Is that what you mean? No, they didn't make the tower any shorter.
Oh, okay.
What they did was they added on a capacity hat to the top of the tower.
Uh-huh. Now, was that to pull? This is these operate at a quarter wave.
They're shorter than a quarter wave.
Even shorter.
Yeah. They're not long enough.
Never.
Right.
Never long enough.
If they're ideally, they should be a half wave tall.
This isn't the transmitter house, is it?
Yes, it is.
Really? It looks like a little single wide.
Well, unfortunately, that's what most of the buildings that house the transmitter look like. They are a shambles. And the reason is because the owner of the radio station has no concept of how the signal is generated. I'm not throwing them under the bus, but
you're right.
They're bean counters, they're businessmen, they're not physicists, they're not electrical engineers, they're not RF engineers. So this picture that you're looking at is the last thing that they worry about. And if there's a dime left over at the end of the day, that dime goes here, but not the full, So it's always in disarray.
Are these phased? Is that what's going on here?
Yes, they are phased. Yes.
Okay.
Also notice that there's water
behind
behind them.
Oh, yeah. No, this thing is in the swamp.
It's in the swamp. That's the other half of the antenna. Right.
That is free antenna real estate.
Right. Bingo. You'll also notice there's no trees around them.
Jason says, how on earth?
I'm sorry. If this was the same situation with the water there, but we had a jungle of trees, each tree is vertical. It's parallel to the antenna, even though it's 1,000 feet away or 500 feet away. It is absorbing radiation from the antenna field.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, where else is it going to go?
So because it's full of sap, and sap is basically water with some salts added in and sugars and whatnot. It's conductive. It's not as good as a wire.
How many hundreds of thousands of watts are we talking?
This is 50,000.
That's it? Between the two?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would have to pull up the license from the FCC, because
You
this
can do a
station is
lot of
gone now.
damage with 50,000 watts, though.
And most of the
With
AMs
a
are.
phased, yeah, with a
Most
phased.
well, we're talking about two different things now. So the power coming out of the transmitter is usually 50 kilowatt.
All right, so divide
what
that by
you're
2
talking
before we
wait
get
a
to
minute
the
now,
antennas. All right.
what you're talking about now, Ziggy, is what we call effective radiated power,
Oh,
ERP.
what a trap.
And the ERP is the power from the transmitter times the gain of the antenna,
Hmm.
minus any losses, and they're minimal, coax, whatever. It's minimal.
Oh no. I would never talk about any kind of gain that we're achieving.
But they do
But
have
they
a lot
do.
of gain because
Oh yeah.
they're co-phased.
So this is
there's a figure
like a
8 pattern.
singular. Oh, it's so it's front. It's a front to back kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Got
a
it.
figure 8. And it's
Yeah,
and I can assure you that one of the main lobes is aimed right dead center at Manhattan. Because that's where the people are. When this station was on the air. Right?
I saw pictures of huge ladder line being run through a swamp like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would tap it as if it was high voltage
Mm-hmm. Yes.
grid line
Yes.
to match the impedance.
Yes. That's correct. That's called stub feeding.
And it was like there was very little inductive matching at the transformer or
That's
at the
right.
at the feed or at the feed. What shit's it called? The feed house?
Yep.
The doghouse? What was it?
Yeah. The doghouse is generally what we call
The doghouse was underneath the tower.
Yeah,
the feed
that's
house
right.
was displaced.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. More safer.
Yep. Exactly.
But
There aren't many AM sticks, we call them sticks, the towers, that have cap hats on the top. This is kind of a rare picture, and that's why I sent it to you.
so would towers like this be fed with ladder line?
No, these were fed
No.
with coax.
No, I know that these were, but back in the day, like towers weren't generally fed with ladder line, right? Unless they were on isolated transformers.
In the very early days, we're talking 100 years ago.
Yeah, the black and white stuff that I watch. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. 100 years ago, they were not fed with coaxial cable. They were fed with balanced line, and
Balanced
they would
feeders too. Most
they
importantly.
would they would also hold on a second. They would also not use generally not use an insulated tower. The tower was grounded. So
and the radiator was
no, the tower is the radiator, but the bottom of the tower is electrically connected to the ground and the
so
radial
it was
field.
shunt fed.
Yes, they would shunt feed it. They would have a wire that would come up at about halfway up the tower at a 45-degree angle. And the wire does some radiation, but the tower also radiates because the tower absorbs that energy from the wire because it's physically connected to it. It's called shunt feeding.
That is so cool.
Yep. The problem with shunt feed, it works. It works brilliantly.
Oh yeah, no, it's a loop antenna on its side for
Yeah,
sure.
pretty much. It's like a gamma match. It's like half of a Yagi, and you cut it in half, and you feed one side of the Yagi facing straight up, and you have your gamma match. That's really what shunt feeding is doing. The problem with shunt feeding a tower of this size is that the wire also radiates in addition to the tower, and the two signals, the two radiation patterns, they don't make a nice circular field low to the ground. Some of it is low to the ground, omnidirectional, like what we want, but some of it also comes off of that shunt wire. And at night, when the ionosphere goes to sleep and we hear AM signals from 1,000 miles away, that shunt feeding wire is also radiating, and it's causing skip. And you'd say, that's great. I can hear the station that's broadcasting from Los Angeles. I can hear it here in
The
Massachusetts, in
FCC
Boston. This is
wants
wonderful.
nothing to
It
do
isn't.
with
It
that.
isn't. It's a problem because now all of these stations that are on that frequency are all fighting against each other, and there's whistles and heterodynes, and you can't hear anything at the end of the day. So the FCC put a kibosh on that, and they said, no, you can't shunt feed anymore. Okay? So now you have to feed it with coax, and it's just the tower.
Well, that's a damn shame.
Mm-hmm. But as hams, we can do the shunt feed.
And they do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
With cap hats.
That too. There's many tricks. Mm-hmm. Yep. Because we don't really as hams, we don't necessarily care that we have to feed maximum signal to the town that we're feeding. We don't care. It goes anywhere. We want to talk. We want to have it go up and bounce around upstairs a little bit and come down way the hell over there on the other side of the earth. And somebody will hear us and make contact with us, and this is great.
I believe the gentleman said out of 100 watts, maybe 10 of those was getting out on 160 meters, and he couldn't be more thrilled.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
all he could ever ask for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he gets that on digital voice and skippity doo dah.
Well, it's a very different concept. Ham, we can do 1 watt out, we can do 1,500 watts, we can have an efficient antenna, we can have a light bulb for an antenna. And it's going to go somewhere. It may only go down the road, but it'll go somewhere. And you might make a contact with the guy across town, if it's a really lousy antenna and you don't have any power. But with the AM stuff, that picture, you're in a business. Your job is to put maximum signal into that city so that if you have a lousy radio and you're in the middle of the Holland Tunnel in your car, you're still going to hear the station. That's the goal. Maximum penetration, maximum signal for that target. I don't want any signal going out to Philadelphia. I don't care. I want it to go all into Manhattan. It's a completely different concept.
Now, what was the argument that the FCC had with the tower? Just because everything looked good for the operator, it didn't meet their specifications. So
because
because
the FCC, they don't care about what your SWR is.
As if they had asked them to detune their antenna to meet their meterings.
No, they don't
No?
detune it. No, it's quite the opposite. They want the antenna to be of maximum efficiency,
Well, okay.
but low to the ground. Very
Okay,
little
but they
signal
have-
goes up to the sky.
They have, okay, so they wanted to, all right, they did what they did to make a lower radiation angle.
Well,
Is that what you're saying?
Are you talking about that picture?
Well, the reason why the cap hats were added to that
Yeah.
station.
That's because those towers were electrically too short.
Now, was that an engineering
Yep.
whoopsies? Or
Well,
this is
I-
just how
I don't know
reality
the-
works kind of thing?
I could do a deep dive, but my guess is that the station
It's just
changed
kinda how it
frequencies. My guess is that
Huh.
station started with 1,000 watts at, let's say, 1510 on the dial.
And- Oh, I'm glad you brought this up because this is a big
Okay.
thing people don't
And-
know is that with more power, things change.
So
Nobody likes to talk about
those towers were designed to run, let's say, at 1510 on the AM dial. Okay.
that. Okay.
And then they upgraded, and this goes back to the 20s and 30s. And then the license, they asked the FCC, hey, can we put more power out? We're not, we're doing okay with 1,000 watts. We would really like to bump it to 20,000.
But we've been operating these 20,000 watt amps for a while.
No,
We
no, no,
thought
no,
we'd
no, no,
like
no,
to tell
no,
you.
no, it doesn't work. No,
I know.
no, I hear what you're saying, but no. So they petition the FCC and they say, we would like to upgrade to 20 kilowatt. And the FCC says, okay, we're going to send out our engineers. You have to prove to us that with the extra power, that you're not going to interfere with any of the other stations on the same frequency in the United States. You have to prove to us electrically that the signal will only go where you are licensed for it to go.
That's a big job.
Oh yeah, big time.
Big time.
So they prove, I'm making this up as I go, but it proves the point. So that now the FCC says, okay, guys, you've proved it. By the way, we don't have another slot for you at 1510. We noticed that at 1510, at 20 kilowatt, you are going to be fighting with another station. And
we're going to have to bump you up 80 Ks.
So what we can do is we'll give you the 20 kilowatt, but we're going to change your frequency. You're no longer at 1510. Now you're at 810.
Yeah,
I'm making
you're going down. Yeah, you're going
down in frequency.
Going down in frequency.
Now your antennas are much too short.
Worst case scenario.
Oh no! Well. From I can tell you from a broadcaster's standpoint, you actually want a lower frequency.
Oh, absolutely.
It penetrates much better.
You can make up for the loss, right?
Okay, so to this station, WNEW, it's to their benefit to go, and I'm making the numbers up, from 1510 to 810, okay? It's to their benefit, but their antennas are now too short, and they don't have the money to rip them down. They're on the air. They can't rip them down. They can't add to them because they're structurally not strong enough to be doubled in length. But what they can do is they can put cap hats on them, and that will electrically make them longer. It's the same as a loading coil at the bottom. And we've all done that with a mag mount antenna or a ham stick. They all have loading coils in them. It does the same thing. It's more efficient this way, though.
Not me. I refuse.
I know, but I'm saying
I have refused since I was a technician to use a loading coil.
But Ziggy, I'm saying for the people that are watching the stream in the future, they've all done it.
I'm just saying, every time I look at one, I go, blasphemy.
Yeah. Well,
but it's not far off, because there are many pictures of antenna broadcasting tuning houses, and all that's inside is coil after coil after coil.
Right. That's right. But those coils don't radiate. They're not part of the antenna. They're just an antenna. No, they're not. They're an antenna tuner.
They're part of the matching network, right?
They're a matching network. They're the same as the antenna tuner in your shack with the cranks. Does the same thing. It just happens to be located at the bottom of the tower. But it's an antenna tuner. It doesn't radiate. Its purpose is not to add to the antenna, to radiate. Its purpose is to tune and match the antenna to the line. That's it.
What was the hut at the base of the broadcast tower for the matching unit?
That's called a doghouse. But inside are coils that you're talking about. But those coils don't radiate. Their job is not to radiate. Their job is to match the stick to the coax. That's it.
Right.
Okay. So if your antenna is too short, in this case, these towers were too short, they have two options. You can three options. You can either use an antenna tuner in the doghouse, that's going to be very inefficient because you're trying to push this current into an antenna that's not resonant. It doesn't want to accept the power, and you're going to lose a lot of your newly licensed power. They went from 1,000 to 20,000 in this example. I'm making it up, right? You're
Yeah.
going to lose half of that 20,000 in the antenna tuning unit just to push the power into this too short an antenna. It's going up in
Such a
smoke. It's going up
waste.
in heat. Right,
Yeah.
right. So that's a no. That's a fail. We're not even going to go there. Okay, so another option is we could physically pick the tower up and we could put a loading coil in the bottom of it. Yeah, you could do that. You
Oh,
got a
absolutely.
crane big enough to pick that thing up
I
without
mean,
it's
you
not going to
know.
happen.
No.
Can it happen on paper? Yes. Can it happen in the real world? No. Okay. So what you do instead of those two choices is you leave the tower the way it is and you add a simple cap hat to the top. It does the same thing as the coil. It just does it differently. But the end result is the same. It makes the tower electrically longer. Right. That's a tuning house. Good. Bravo. Yes.
This is so hard to find, Hollywood.
Yep.
No, so I say that because I have a problem with this. This took me considerable looking. And I'm afraid our internet is kind of being scrubbed of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sure you've seen this very picture before, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that's what I mean. We're losing. Like these
Mhm.
two guys, whatever they thought of their job at the time,
Right.
I admire them because I'll probably never get to see this in my lifetime.
Oh, you might.
Yeah.
I can
Slim
share with
chance.
you in all the years of broadcasting that I've done, I have never been in a tuning unit of that magnitude.
Okay. Well, I mean, you were always on the
This
money
is
end of it, with
this
the voice
this
and the
is
microphone.
this is a very special. This is not just a tuner.
No.
This is a very special thing. This is I can tell you from looking at it. This is from a couple of AM transmitters, and they're sharing one tower.
Yeah, I'm seeing multiplexing and vacuum line. Yeah, this is it. Yeah.
There's impedance matching going on, but there's also filtering so that one transmitter doesn't see the reflected
other one.
power from the other transmitter.
Like,
They don't see
almost
each
invisible.
other. Right.
Almost
Right.
invisible.
Right.
Boy, look
This
at
is-
that coil on the bottom left. Do you see that monster?
Yeah. Yeah. And you
My God.
and you see that everything is silver plated.
Oh, silver.
Yeah. Except for the copper on the top, but all of those coils
Yeah.
are copper coils, but they are silver plated.
Jason says it might be a shortwave site. That's a. It's a good guess.
It could be, but judging by the size of the inductors, I'm going to say no. I don't think that's shortwave. I think that's medium wave.
I'm super sad that this is like the one and only picture that I can find.
Yeah.
This was a plentiful
Uh-huh.
what, 30 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But again, this is somewhat rare.
You're right.
This is not the norm.
This is a very complex matching house.
It's very complex. It's also very clean.
And like you said, it's probably
This
clean
place
because
looks
it's multi-funded, because it's multi.
Oh, this
transmission.
This is big money.
Yeah,
I mean, this looks like I could eat off of the floor. I wouldn't, but it's very
you see all
clean.
the reflections on the damn wall?
Yeah.
Mine got one reflection,
Sure.
reflection. We got more lights.
Most of the time,
Sorry.
when you go to a site like this,
It's a
there's-
moonshine still.
there's rats, there's snakes. I'm not kidding. There's when you go into a site like this, the first thing you do before you ever open the door is
Right.
you take a crowbar or a hammer or something, and you bang the walls as you walk around. And any critters that are inside get scared and they're out.
That haven't
The
been
last
lit up
thing
by
you
RF
want-
yet.
Well, the last thing you want is to go in there and have something that's going to bite you.
Sure.
Okay. You got to scare the critters off, and you often carry some mace or some, spray or whatever. Yep. Nasty job. But these are the things that, unless you're in the field, nobody knows.
Yeah, nobody cares.
We turn the radio and we go click, and there's music comes out.
Hey, my repeater doesn't work.
Yeah, there's
What's
that
wrong?
too. Yeah. Yeah.
My Elmer ran a repeater for a number of years, and let's just say now he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, life's short.
I'm also pretty
Let the young
certain-
guys run the repeaters. Is what
It's
I
been
say.
a while, Ziggy, but I'm pretty certain also that each section of the tower where the paint changes color,
Sure.
each section I think is 25 feet.
Oh man, I'm willing to bet it's got to be 50 feet at least. I mean, these are across the water, are they not?
No,
From
they're
where
on this
this
side. They're on this side of the water. But look at the telephone.
Okay, so
pole.
they're on this. Okay, all right. Well, that changes a lot for me then. Okay, so you're saying 25 feet apiece?
I think they're 25,
I can
maybe
go with
30.
that. So here's a bottom piece. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I can find out for you.
Well, look
1,
at that
2,
red.
3,
That red on the
4,
bottom.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9
Right.
times 25?
Yeah.
Right. Well, 8 times 25 be 425
10 times
feet?
25 is 250.
425 feet?
No.
No?
If each is 25 and there are 10 sections, if
25,
there are
50,
10 sections, that's 250 feet.
10 sections. 25 feet, 75, 225 feet.
Somewhere in that ballpark. Right.
They look so much tall. They look so much bigger than that.
Well,
These look huge. That can't be 25 feet. That's got to be.
how tall is your average telephone pole on your street?
Good question. 20 feet?
I
15
I don't
feet.
think it's not 50 feet. It's not 50 feet.
WNEW.
And how tall is that building? That's a 1-story building. Maybe a story and a half. It's shorter than the telephone pole next to it. Okay.
Okay.
So the telephone pole to me looks like it's about the same height as the bottom section, which is painted in red.
And when did you work here, Hollywood?
I never worked there. That station is long gone.
What station did you work at?
Oh, I've been at several. What
was your
You want to know my
favoritist?
bio?
Your favoritist. No, your favoritist station.
WBZ in Boston.
WBZ in Boston. And it only had the three characters?
The what? Oh, the 3 letters? You mean?
WBZ.
Yes, it was grandfathered in. Right. Yep. BZ was the second to go on the air. KDKA was the first. And KDKA is 1010. Excuse me, 1010. It's 1020.
Oh my gosh.
1020 a.m. BZ is 1030. And WINS in New York is 1010. They were all sisters at one point. They were all owned by Westinghouse.
Where was WNEW?
New York. This is across from Manhattan in the saltwater marsh, right on the Jersey shore. Just if you looked at a map, want to bring up Google Map?
I can't. I am
You're banned from Google?
I am not banned from Google. I am burning up lots of tokens right now trying to figure out the height of these towers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can't share it. It's so weird. StreamYard does not want to do this.
Yeah.
All right. Oh wow.
If
My
you
r-
go, if you
my-
do a Google search, and
Hold on. Let's see if I can't. Let's see if I can't cheat it. I cheated.
get off-
Okay.
get
No,
off,
no, no,
get
look,
off
my-
that thing, because that's
No.
that's wrong half the time. That's wrong. No, that's totally wrong.
In 1930s, WNEW's Tremor.
No. Well, first of all, those are not Blah Knox towers.
They're not.
No,
What is this?
no, that's not what that is. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. That
All right, we're wrong.
GPT thing
Got
is
it.
garbage. It's wrong. it's wrong.
1983.
You want to look
There
at
was-
number 3. Look at number 3.
The dual cap hat top
Right.
loaded tower.
That's the correct answer.
Okay. This is what I was after. I gave it everything
so
I
read-
knew. It was
read it.
guessing.
Read it. 2 shorter.
Instead of putting
uniform
up another single tall structure, WNEW's engineers, led by Mark Durenberger, opted for 2 shorter
Okay.
uniform
Wait a minute.
cross-section towers.
Time out. Look at
Time
the
out.
first paragraph in number 3. Just
You mean
read the first paragraph.
Right here, instead of putting up another another single tall structure.
And
Is that
what
what
does
you're
it
talking
say for the height?
At 200 feet.
2 shorter uniform cross-section towers, which is what we're looking at. That's
Okay,
what's
so
in the
these are
picture.
200-foot
Tower
towers.
is 200 feet.
They are much shorter. My God.
And
Really?
what did we say? We said 225.
Yeah.
So we're in the ballpark.
Excellent.
Okay?
Excellent.
Okay.
They look so much bigger than 200 feet.
Nope.
But they're freestanding. That's the illusion.
Well,
Right?
part of
If
the
it was
reason why,
if it was Roan 20 or whatever, it'd be,
Yep.
a pencil stick all the way up.
do you see any guy wires there?
No, they're
No,
freestanders.
they're freestanding, right?
Yeah.
That's
Love
also-
a freestander.
So judging by the sections, and you count the sections that are painted as they change color.
You were
That's
right. They're
by
25.
far the easiest way to do it. I don't know whether they're 20 feet or 25 feet or 30
No,
feet.
They're
but
two
I'm in-
hundies. They're
I'm
two
in the
hundies.
ballpark. I'm in the
Yeah.
ballpark.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You got it.
So I know, because of the height at 200 feet, that those are going to be less than a quarter wave.
Oh my God!
Okay.
Like here's
They
the
might
current
be a
right
qu-
here.
they're-
Here, let me do the current for you. Just barely getting. But we have 2 of them. They're playing on each other, so there's a whole nother directional realm that they're probably shooting off to, and the game's probably insane off of one direction. These engineers probably had a field day with the amount of game they got.
Yeah, this is standard to use 2 towers.
That's awesome. That is so
It is
great.
standard. BZ has
But
2 towers.
But we are
BZ's
at one
BZ's towers are a half wavelength tall. Not a quarter
Wow.
wave, a half wave
wow,
tall.
the whole damn thing, huh?
Yep. And there are 2 of them. And they're co-phased.
My word.
And they're co-phased in such a way so that you don't get a figure 8 pattern, you get a cardioid pattern. So the little stub at the end of the cardioid is what's facing the ocean. Very little signal goes out there. Most of the signal goes due west, and it feeds 38 states at night. big signal.
Oh yeah. At
And that's-
nighttime, they're dangerous.
And that's done with 50 kilowatt.
So cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a different.
I can't believe that you got to experience this firsthand, though.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was never here at NEW. They were gone. I saw the towers before they pulled them. I happened to be driving up the Jersey Turnpike and I saw them and it caught my eye and I went, "Whoa, look at that! That's kind of a rare sight." And it always stuck with me. And then 5 years later, they pulled them. That was in the mid '90s
What
or
a
something.
shame.
Yeah. But it's an interesting perspective because it's something that, hams use on a smaller scale and the physics doesn't change. It's the same thing.
The SWRs is the best part. They don't matter.
That's right. Well, SWR matters at the end of the day, but you fix that with a tuner. Don't design the antenna for SWR. Design the antenna to put the maximum power out there, no matter what the match is. And then you tackle the match.
So maybe design your antenna around your physical parameters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Start at the end.
Yep. You got it.
Yeah.
And if it's a vertical antenna like that, and you can put it in salt water, you got to do it because that's where it's got to have something to push against. All of the AM towers, all of the big AM stations are all sitting in salt water. All of them, the big ones.
So let's make an AM tower real quick.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So we've got wire edit. XY. No, we need a Z. And I've always forgot. I think we need ZY for base. And then 0. And then we can zoom out quite a bit. Where's 0? 0. It's here. 0. It's here. So how many meters is an AM tower?
So
200 feet?
All right. So to remember to do a quarter wave antenna is 234 divided by frequency. That'll give it to you in feet. That's a quarter wave. What are you doing? What's that? $234 divided by the frequency. What frequency are we using on the AM band?
800 Ks.
Okay.
All right.
So,
or we could be nicer and go like
so it's
1200 Ks or something.
Well,
0.8.
pick one. Pick one.
1.2.
You want 1.2?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 1200 kilohertz.
Is that within the band? I think it is. $1,200, 234. 1,200.
I don't know what you're doing, Ziggy.
234. I'm doing it backwards. How's that? Is that better?
No.
No.
You can't do it backwards, no. So I'm sorry I'm getting tired, but I'm asking you what let's pretend you own a station. You have a license. What frequency is your license good for on the AM band? We're creating an antenna for the.
Let's just go
the AM
800
band, right?
Ks. Yeah.
Okay.
800
Okay.
kilocycles.
Okay. So 800 kilohertz is how many megahertz?
0.8.
Right. So 234, bring up your calculator, divided by the frequency in megahertz. Right. So it's 0.8. Now hit the enter key. That is the height in feet for a quarter wave antenna. Now you have to convert that height in feet to meters because the software only works in meters. So let's round it, make it easy on yourself. Call it 300 feet. Because a couple of feet one way or the other at this frequency isn't going to make any difference. Let's just make it simple. Call it 300 feet. And a meter has around 3 feet in it. I'm taking a lot of poetic license here, right?
Sure.
You don't have to be exact, is my point. You can guesstimate. So let's say it's 100 meters. So make your vertical antenna 100 meters tall, and let's see what happens.
100. Okay.
100 meters.
100 meters.
This was what I just did with you was something that I did with my 9th graders, and it was really tough for them to be able to do it. They got it, but it took 2 or 3 days because they were taught in school, I have to get the right answer. And I had to, it was like, I hate to be this crude, but it was kind of like breaking a horse and saying, no, guys, you don't have to give me the right answer. What I want is for the team, we broke up into teams and we played like hangman on the blackboard.
Right.
And I'd give them a problem. And in order to get the point, to move the guy around on hangman or whatever the game we were playing, you had to give me the answer the fastest and the most accurate. So if team A said it's 0.8 and team B said it's 1.0, team A, if they were close enough, they answered first, they would get the point. I wanted to teach them to guess, not wild guesses, but an educated guess. Put the calculator down, put the slide rule down, use your head. And it took about 3 days of this game playing, but they started to get into it. And I'll tell you, Ziggy, at the end of 3 or 4 days, they were just banging the answers out. They didn't have to be dead on, but they got it. They got close enough. And that was the goal. And then I said, okay, now pull your calculator out and give it to me, 3 decimal points out if you want. And you can make it super accurate. But now you know what to expect from the calculator. The calculator
now I know what to expect from you.
Well, that too. Yeah. If the calculator says 14 and you know the answer is going to be around 10,
sure.
The calculators, you've done something wrong. It'll be 10.01 or 10.3, but not 14. That's too far out.
So here we are at 800 kilohertz.
Yeah.
And our wire is, my God. How long is our wire? 100 meters.
100 meters. Yeah.
But this is such... now that you've showed me how I can pull current away, this is such piss poor performance.
Is it?
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. Look at the far field. Oh, it doesn't look too bad to me. Could be better, but it's not bad. It's not a throwaway. It's not bad.
It's not bad at all. It's not a throwaway at all. But most of the power is not getting there.
How do we know that?
because my calculation. Well, actually, 28 is not bad. I've done worse in the past.
Okay. Look at the R.
Okay. Wait,
Look
hold
at the second table in the R.
on. Isn't that beautiful?
Is
What's
it?
going on here? Is
What
it?
should what should it be?
I mean, hold on.
If everything was perfect, what should that number be? The R.
Well, if everything was this.
See, I gave you
Oh,
the answer. I'm quizzing
I
you. I'm
know.
seeing if you're paying attention. I gave you the answer a couple of
You know
times,
what?
about an hour ago.
You know what? The software really likes it.
The hell with the software. Who cares?
The hell with the software. But the SWR is off the chart.
Just if it's a quarter wave tall antenna, what
Well,
should
no.
that number R be?
Okay, so if it was a quarter wave tall antenna, it's going to be half of a dipole, is what you want me to say.
Right.
That is what 32 36 612 36.
You got it. 36.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. So I actually
This
have
is my new favorite number besides 75 is 72
you're right.
and now 36.
You got it.
Right.
So I can see right off the bat, just looking at that R, that I have losses. I have extra resistance that I don't want. That number should be 36, and it
Right
isn't.
here.
No, not the
No.
J, the R. Just look at the R. That
Oh,
R should be
right.
36.
Should be 36. Right. We
Yeah.
have more of an open circuit than we need.
There's more resistance in the antenna system.
And
the
that
whole
means
thing.
loss.
That includes the
loss.
tower and the radials.
And that means loss.
Yeah.
And that's a significant fraction.
You bet. From
Right.
36 up to 50, you bet.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So that antenna is not as efficient as it could be.
Now, is this our fraction right here? The
Nope.
SWR?
Nope.
No.
The SWR is telling us how far away from 50 we are. I mean, 50 with J0. So I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but
Yep.
Don't be concerned with the SWR. That's at the end of the day. At the beginning of the day, you look at the R and you say to yourself, I expect it to be 36. That's what my target is. That's the bullseye. I'm off. I'm 49 and change. Too high. What could possibly be adding the extra 15 ohms? That's what I have to ask myself as an engineer. Where is the extra 15 ohms coming from? Because those are losses. And if I can get rid of them and get that number down to 36, I'll have a better signal. So look at this picture and see if you can figure out. Don't spin it around too much because we'll get seasick. But where do you think the losses might be? Look at the currents.
I mean, that's a big fraction right there in the radial reference, and then plus the offset. I don't know. We're pretty much at a quarter wave here. We've kind of nailed the length of, but we need to increase the push off because we only have the 2. Can I add some radials?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Before you draw them,
okay,
I want you to think about what it will do.
I want radials quarter wavelength or
If
I want a lot.
Hold on. Time out.
I just
time
want
out,
a lot of radials, honestly.
Time out. I've got
big guy.
2 radials here.
Yeah.
And I have so much current going in. I'm making up a number, 5, going into the tower.
Yeah.
Okay. If I add 2 more radials, what will I expect to see as far as the current going into the
Diminishing
tower?
returns.
Huh?
Diminishing returns.
If I add 2 more radials, I get diminishing returns?
If they're not contributing to the wavelength of the radiating element, if they're not.
No.
So what I was
No,
saying is
no.
should I lengthen these radials
No.
first
No,
before
I don't
we
want
add
you
more?
to, no, I don't want you to draw anything yet. I want you to
Okay.
think it out. Think it out
I'm
first.
thinking. I haven't drawn anything.
We did this earlier. We had an antenna that had 1 radial on it, and we added a second radial. And then we added 2 more radials for a total of 4. And every time we added radials, something changed. Do you remember what changed?
The presenting load of the antenna.
We got more current. We got more current going into the vertical radiator.
Got it.
Okay?
Okay.
So I have 2 radials here now. Add 2 more.
Perpendicular. Obviously.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where we are here.
That's why I want you to think before you do it. Ask yourself.
Oh, you know
This
me.
is the
I'm
scientific
a
method. You ask yourself, I got a problem. I want what I want to achieve. What do I expect to happen if I do this?
You know me. I'm a shoot
And then
first.
and then model
behavior.
it and see if the model agrees with what you thought was going to happen.
We're going to my licensed frequency of
Right.
0.8.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. And my God.
Look at the current. Look at the current. Look at
I've
the
never
current.
seen anything like
Okay.
that.
Huge, huge,
What?
huge
What
difference.
the shit have you done here? Where's 5? Oh, we're splitting hairs.
Yeah. Don't be so concerned with this part yet. What I want you to see is that the current really
And
is much more current.
oh no,
Wait a minute.
Here.
Wait. Hold on.
sorry.
Hold on.
Hold
Hold on.
on.
Stay where you are.
I'm saying
Okay. So we know the current went way up. Right?
way up.
Okay, great. We're in agreement. What do we know about Ohm's law?
High current is a low impedance point.
Oh, what did we just do to
we
the
increased
impedance?
the current and we lowered the impedance.
Bingo. And isn't
Yeah.
that what we wanted?
Let me see. Where's the
We
calculator?
were at 50.
Were we? We were somewhere
We
around
were-
50.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the SWR is 2.
Oh.
What have you done?
Oh.
What did this shit you do? What? Wait a minute, you tricked me. What just happened? Man, Jay's not looking bad either.
Uh-huh. Well, what did you have a J before? Look at column number 39. That's the one with the 2 radials.
Jay was.
Look at the J.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, JXOM 255 as opposed to 36 now.
Okay. What does the minus sign mean?
That we are capacitive.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. And that also means the antenna is too short.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So instead of making the tower taller, what we
We-
did just now was we added 2 more, we doubled up on the radials.
We
We
did.
went from 2 to 4 radials.
We did.
And we lowered the impedance of the antenna. We got rid of that high minus J factor, that capacitance value. And now the tower is accepting more of the power that we're feeding it. This is why radials are so important.
So important.
I mean, you just saw it. That's the proof.
Now, we should save this topic for another day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty great. Thanks.
It's time. It's time for Hollywood to go horizontal.
Go become a radio, my friend.
Yeah. But this has been great. Thank you. Hey, listen, thank you for having me on.
Thanks for hanging out with me, man.
Yeah. So let that sink in. Play with it, in the next couple of days when you have time. Save these pictures. Try, remember what I said about look at just that picture right there tells you everything you need to know. Don't bother with the numbers. The numbers they're important, but this tells you everything.
Where's the current going? Yeah.
And remember, the radials do not radiate. They're opposing. They cancel each other out.
We want them to do that.
Uh-huh.
Because otherwise they're absorbing the RF.
No, they're radiating.
Right, but not inefficient. Inefficient.
They're radiating and they're contributing, but not in a good way. They may be destructive to the pattern.
Mostly destructive on a dice roll.
Yep. Exactly.
Cool. Thanks, Hollywood.
Okay. Off I go. Have a great night. Thanks again, my brother.
Thanks, buddy.
Talk to you soon. Okay.
Adios.
Bye.
See ya.